Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen.
Pack your bag, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind, we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on.
You landed on the tarmac, fresh off the boat. Talking about y'all building nothing, man, you choking on the note. My ancestors the reason that this country even breathes. Picked the cotton, built the White House, planted the seed. Jim Crow laws, redlined the map, we was the target. You think that struggle's a costume, man, you can't mark it. We fought the wars, we bled the blood, we died for our future's chance. And you come here and give our legacy a side eye while throwing shade on the guard. While you benefit from doors we kicked down with our last breath. Now you spit on the architects who stared down death. Disrespectful, that's disrespectful, ungrateful, a slap in the face, the only people who gave a fuck. So let me show your ungrateful ass to the right place.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our ground and we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on.
Passport, the visa, the privilege to be here. Cause my grandma did march for y'all, so disappear from our land. You cosplaying our pain. Think it's a trend you can borrow, but you ain't inherit the ghosts of our sorrow. We the foundation, the bedrock, the soil and the root. You not no branch on our tree, and unproductive people always cosplaying me.
Talking about we ain't do nothing, you lost your mind. We built this from nothing, time after time.
From the beginning to now, we've been the backbone and muscle. Why you look down on the struggle and cause a whole tussle? The energy sky with disgust and it's whack. So let's make it clear, there's no turning back.
This land is paid for in full,
In blood, sweat, and tears, and dreams deferred.
you don't get to come into a house we built from the dirt and telling Black America y'all ain't worth nothing. That's a violation, facts.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
It's our soil on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
Show respect, this our ground, y'all just tenants on a lease.
Or get the step.
Show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your digits, I can just fly on.
Don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your digits, I can just fly on.
Yeah, fly little birdies.
Fly on back to where you came from.
This ain't for you, this soil is sacred.
We said what we said,
It's time.
for y'all to go home. So fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, so fly a little birdies fly, fly far, far away from here. Bye-bye, little birds.
Hold on. Foundational Black Americans are done being quiet. You don't get to fly into New York, stand on sacred ground, and act like history didn't involve both sides. We're not rewriting the truth anymore. And while this is happening, birthright citizenship, built on the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, is under attack, even though in United States v. Wong Kim Ark already settled it This is about lineage, ownership, justice, and FBA are drawing the line in the sand right now. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your Sister K Fighter, Brother Tad, Sister Marcia, Brother Blacksmith, along with our Sister Brooke, Brother Devon of the U.S. Freedmen's Project. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Tell somebody to tell somebody it's about to go down. Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. Hope everybody is doing well while the team get ready behind the scenes. Shout out to Sister Ish and Brother Cool Water for that track and video. Definitely reach out to them on TikTok for more information on how you can download it. If there's an album involved, all of that, tell them Thorough Black Talk sent you. Salute. Quinn, what's happening? Thank you. Yes, hit that like button. Share. Subscribe. Tell them Quinn it goes down over here for real. FBA strong. 8815, what's happening? Yes, keep those emails going. Keep the emails going. We definitely appreciate it. It's working. B1, I am warrior. What's happening? Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. Yes, indeed. Sister Brooke is a flamethrower. She's a flamethrower. And guess what? We got a special surprise guest for y'all later on in the broadcast. And this person is a serious flamethrower. I can't let the cat out the bag yet. It's a surprise. The person is coming on about 9:30. You don't want to miss it. Tell somebody to tell somebody. It's going down. Yes, indeed. B1 family, B1. What up, Spirit Wonder? What's happening? Harlem in the building. What's good, Ruth Brooks? Sister Ruth, we seen you out there too. Sister Ruth was out there protesting them Ghanaians as well. Thank you, sister, for showing up and doing the damn thing. Yes, indeed. Thank you. That is Cool Water and Sister Ish. Check them out on TikTok where you can find more information. I believe it's a whole album that they're about to drop. So you don't want to miss that. Salute. Yes, indeed. Delta Roots. What's happening? New Orleans in the building. What's good? The original New Orleans in the building. Shout out to y'all. Glad you rocking out with us on the Brooklyn Bridge. Culture Media TV. Shout out to you. Yes, FBA Freedmen in the building. Let's get it. It's about to go down. Sister Joyce, Brother Monty, Suffolk County on the check-in. Peace, family. What's happening? Sister Maria, Be More in the building. Be More finest. What's happening? Again, my condolences to you and your family. Hold your head. Stay strong. Keep the rope tight for the rest of the family. You got to keep the rope tight. Uncle Jess, Aunt Marie, Brownsville finest. What's happening, family? What's good, Black Rose? What it is. Bruce, Staten Island finest in the building. What's happening? Big Russ. What's happening? Philly in the building. We got the whole team. It's about to go down. Make sure you tell somebody to tell somebody. Alabama in here heavy. Sister Farnessa. What's good? Glad you black us right here on the Brooklyn Bridge. Tell somebody to tell somebody. It's going down. Lee Robinson, what's good? What's happening? Glad you up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Let us know where you flying in from. So we can shout you out. Shout the whole town. That's how we do it. Sister Tanisha, Thorough Black Talk supporter on the check-in. What's happening? Glad you out here rocking out on the BK Bridge with us. Brother Melrose in the building. If you don't know, now you know. New York's hottest DJ in the building. Brother Melrose Radio on the check-in. What's happening? Yes, indeed. We about to get in here heavy. Florida in the building. What's happening, Ray Al? What's good? Glad you rocking out with us. Let's get into it. So, arguments for birthright citizenship took place yesterday, April Fool's Day of all days. And you know, some of these justices, boy, I'm telling you, boy, they flip-flopping. They flip-flopping. I don't know if y'all caught it, but they flip-flopping. We're going to get into it a little bit later. And also, too, when you look at the U.S. Constitution, I'm going to give y'all some tea real quick. When you read the Constitution, don't put your ethic hat on. I don't want you to put your ethics hat on. I want you to put in the hat of a criminal mind, right? When you look at the U.S. Constitution, it's a criminal document. I just want y'all to know that. It is a criminal document written by criminals, right? Think to the inception of the U.S. Constitution. What was our demographic during the writing of the U.S. Constitution? And who wrote it? Who wrote it? The founders and framers of the Constitution were men of a criminal enterprise. However, through the diligence of Black Americans, being a moral compass of this country, we had to make them flip it so that we can benefit, right, from their criminal enterprise. And that's where the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment come into play. Now, I see my brother Tad in the background. You ready, brother Tad? The OG Wisdom Podcast. Brother Tad, and soon to be Tad Talks up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, brother? What's happening?
Peace, sis. Peace. How you feeling? Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear. We in the black and white tonight, boy. We in the black and white tonight.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, part of my lateness, I was at a funeral, you know, just came in, didn't even do my sound check or nothing, just plugged and jumped online. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Glad to see everybody here. Shout out to the new folks. Yes, sis. But don't let me interrupt you. I'm here. I'm present.
And also, I want y'all to remember, please, every Sunday, check out the OG Wisdom Podcast.
Yeah.
2 p.m. on TikTok, and soon to be Tad Talks. So you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss it. So you don't know when the kickoff going to happen if you ain't tuned in to OG Wisdom Podcast or Thorough Black Talk. So make sure you tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. Again, my condolences to you too, Brother Tad, as well.
No doubt.
A lot of people have lost loved ones and friends in the last few weeks. It's just been a lot, you know.
Yeah, this has been a trying couple of weeks, sis. I'll talk to you about it behind the scenes, but boy, what the folks say, the devil busy. The devil
you gotta
busy,
bob and weave him. You gotta bob and weave the devil. You gotta bob and weave him, boy. Don't let him roll you on the ropes now.
Keep him down in the hole.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, and also we got a surprise guest, brother. I ain't gonna tell you. We got a surprise guest coming in about 9:30.
Okay.
True flamethrower. So it's about to get heavy tonight. But before we get started, because before you came in, I was talking about birthright citizenship and the U.S. Constitution.
I was listening to the hearings.
Yes. And for those of you who may have missed it, you can catch the replay on YouTube. Right? Just go to U.S. courts and it'll come up and y'all should be able to watch it. But or listen to it, I should say. Listen to it. Because a lot of things were said in those proceedings. And some of the justices that most people would think were leaning conservative were kind of flip-flopping. They were kind of flip-flopping. We don't know what the end game will be because they go back into session, I think June, early July, something like that, they said. Y'all can double check that for me. But I believe they said June, early July, they will go back and, you know, give their dictums on what this argument was. But I find it very interesting that you had so many people who came in talking about citizenship, and even those who said that, you know, they are aren't citizenship, have citizenship in this country should, just because. Just because. Now that don't even make no sense. Nobody has open borders. Like, do you have an open door policy in your house where anybody can come in your house, Brother Tag, any time of the day they feel like it, just because?
Not even family.
That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. But when it comes to U.S. soil, because some of the greatness that derives from this soil, everybody want to attach themselves to it, and they don't care who it involves, who gets hurt by it. I was just reading an article in the paper where you had what do you call it? I guess Ecuadorian who unalived a Black woman and her children. She was coming into her home, and she was robbed and unalived. And you had people, these liberals who were outside of the jail protesting, so this person could stay in there.
Wow.
This is the craziness, right? And so you had, I guess, one of them street interviewers who were going around asking people if they would sign a petition to have an illegal alien brought back to the United States. And so all these folks was ready to sign to bring the person back into the U.S. But the interviewer said, well, would you allow him to stay in your house for the time being until, they can find placement? And everybody, pulled back from the paper. They didn't want to sign it then. So where are these people supposed to stay? Because they're coming in our neighborhood. They're not going over there on Central Park West to live. They're not living in Dutchess County, right? They're not living in the Adirondacks. They're living amongst us. They're not living in Greenwich, Connecticut. They're not living in Beverly Hills. They're living amongst us. And then when you have crime statistics, people say, well, it's heavy where we live at. But that's because we got all these illegals here. But I don't see the pan goofies talking about that, though. I don't see them talking about that. So, Sister Brooke, who likes to rile me up, she likes to rile me up, send me this clip, because last week we talked a little bit about the protests that took place against the Ghanaian delegation that came to lay a wreath and to give testimony at the United Nations, allegedly for themselves, for their people. But we know it's for the leadership. They just want a money grab. So I'm going to play this clip and we'll come right back and we'll discuss. Hold on, family. Here we go. I want y'all to hear what these people saying. Former Ghanaian Prime Minister says reparations going to only descendants of slavery is individualistic and not the African way, and that reparations should go to the entire African continent. Hold on. Here we go.
Wow. It's individualistic. So even though slavery was, slaves were exploited for the benefit of the state, even in America today, to be able to establish, that to benefit from any arrangement that compensates you as, a descendant of a slave, they must trace the root because it's individualistic. We Africans.
It doesn't work like that here.
It doesn't work like that.
You touch
here.
one, you touch all.
All. That's how we work. That's how Africans.
So
That's
it should be continent-wide.
Wide.
Or nation-wide.
No, it's continent.
Continent-wide.
That's why.
But he says.
That's why for the first time, 56 African nations
agreed.
Were united in their belief that this is the way.
But Manasseh says target the Caribbean, target the Black Americans. They are the ones who suffered directly. They can trace it to their great grandfather who was put in a ship and moved from from Elmina all the way to only God knows where. But not you, Inusa Fuseni, who is in Ghana, who was not affected in any way from Tamale.
Those of our ancestors who could confer benefit on us, who were traded, who were moved to the United States, constituted a loss to us. Constituted a loss to us, whether within families or within nation states. And that's how we must look at it.
Y'all hear this foolishness? Y'all hear this foolishness? This is what goes on. And you know, I'm about to bring sister in here because she don't be getting me riled up for no reason. She don't want to be starting with me throughout the day. So she sent me this clip. So I'm gonna bring the flamethrower up herself. Sister Brooke, our activist for disaggregation and reparations here in New York. Brooke, even melanin, here we go, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, sis?
Hello. Hi. How are you? Did I send you that or did Divine send that? I think Divine sent that one.
She said one of y'all troublemakers.
Right.
It was you.
Oh, so I sent it. Did Divine sent it again? Okay, so that's what it was. Okay. Yeah.
What up, Sister Brooke?
Stuff. What up, Tim? How you doing?
What up? My favorite FBA baddie.
Oh my God! She's that video. Yo, first, okay, you make me want to address that video, but it only got like 100 or something views, so I don't want to publicize it. You know what I mean?
So don't even big him up.
Absolutely, he's definitely not getting no, but I will address it. So anyway, I will just address two things from it. One, he was incorrect when he said that I was protesting Ghana receiving reparations. Number one, I knew this Trump administration wasn't going to give them shit. So I wasn't out there for that. I was out there for the spiritual aspect and the fact that they were disrespecting our ancestors' bones and the fact that they are known for doing black magic. And that is why I was out there. The second thing, he said that, what was the other thing? Oh, I can't remember what the last thing was. If I remember, I'll tell you. But dang on it, I even forgot that. What was the second part? Oh, he said how I grew up in East Flatbush, and am I trying to delineate from the whole of East Flatbush? Yes. Yes, I am. Yes. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? I love my friends. Whoever's my friends and whoever are allies, I love you. But yes, I am. So don't try to act like, you know what I'm saying, like brand new. Yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Delineate from the entire East Flatbush. Okay. All right. So now we can go back onto that video since you brought that up, Ted. I said, this idiot. How you going, praise my looks and then talk trash about me at the same time?
Show you where his priorities are.
That part, because he still want a chance, which you not one in hell. Okay, that's what it is. Anyway, probably somebody I turned down.
And the tub of shea butter. Not even he came with a bundle of chew sticks and tub of shea butter.
Nah, son.
Bucket of incense.
I'm good. Especially on the Pan African Goofies. Okay, I'm good. All right. I done had enough Pan African Goofies. All right. And then before we get any deeper into my personal life, which I don't like to talk about online. Back to that video. First of all, did they share their cowrie shells with us when they sold us? Did they share? Did they share their U.S. aid with us? Did they share their Red Cross rights with us? Did they share anything they've ever gotten with us? And now, like I said at the whatchamacallit, and now that you see that we getting somewhere, you want to try to hop on board on what we doing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And we gonna stop that. Do you even share with the Ghanaians? No, you don't. So, and I used to say this. I remember when I was, chilling with some African dudes, you know what I'm saying, going to a couple parties, you know what I mean, back in the day. And this is before I knew that they sold us. They were just African. They weren't Ghanaian. I think they were from Cameroon, I believe. And they were like, oh yeah, they kept saying, making the differences, the things that we do as foundational Black Americans and the things that they do, right? Like, we're not as comfortable in completely white spaces. Now we do what we have to do, but on our off time, we don't want to be in white spaces. Like that, at least that's me. You know what I'm saying? When I'm off work, I don't want to be in an all white space. Okay? I don't want to go to the white bars. I don't want to do all that. You know what I mean? But they are comfortable in those white spaces. And so, they were asking me a bunch of questions, and I just said, let me ask you a question. I said, how come y'all didn't come and look for us? How come y'all didn't come and find us? Like, y'all never once thought, because there's the time when I thought that they had kidnapped us. I'm like, y'all never sent a boat over here. Y'all never sent a search party. Y'all never sent anything to try to help or look for us. And now it truly is like when a child has a crackhead mom, right? Not just a crackhead mom, but a crackhead mom that sold you for crack, right? Now you have become a basketball player or actress or something famous, making lots of money. And now that parent come around you, well, I gave you life. And you also tried to sell me for crack. You understand what I'm saying? That's Ghana right now. I can't even put it on any other African nations because it's specifically Ghana right now. You know what I'm saying? Well, you came from here, but you sold me. So therefore, that severs our ties. We ain't got no ties. The minute you got paid for my body or for my answer, the 1% that came over here, because you got to say that for the indigenous people. Lord, because they will attack your ass. So for the 1% that came over here, y'all did that. And so that severed our ties. We have no ties anymore. And don't come around now. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym. Don't come now. Now I'm hot. You all on me. Oh, no. I don't play that in my personal life. I don't play that in politics. I don't play that shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Because I was a late bloomer. I was a very late bloomer. So, you know what I'm saying? It was boys, you know what I'm saying, who thought you didn't have this or you didn't have that. Oh, don't come around me now when I turn 18. Don't come now. Don't come now. That same energy you had when we was in school. I don't know. So like I said, that's that energy. I carry it into everything. You didn't want me then. You can't have me now.
Exactly. And last week, again, shout out to my brother Melrose. Thanks for the donation. And Sister Tanisha, thank you for the cash app. We appreciate you. Ever since last week, it's been hell over there. And Sister Brooke said, I hope the ancestors follow your ass.
Sister Brooke was working her mojo.
What? She got that Louisiana mojo, boy. And
I said, I got my what's her name? My Whoopi Goldberg on. You do right by us.
For real,
okay?
for real.
Everything you touch is gonna fail.
For real. Here we go.
The ancestors follow each and every one of you home for the disrespect that you have shown today. Our ancestors will get their lick back on you. I hope you enjoy it because the ancestors will take revenge out on you. You're trying so hard to stop the progression that our ancestors are making right now. With us, within us. May the ancestors follow each and every one of you home and get their lick back on you for the disrespect that you have shown today. It is not our fault that you went into slavery sisters, that you sold the teachers, the doctors, the farmers, everybody. You sold them into slavery, and now you have a brain drain. That is on you. Your nation will forever be cursed until you do right by us. Until you do right by the foundational Black Americans, you will forever be cursed. That is why you are begging. It's a year of return. We all know that your whole country was broke. That's why you had the year of return. That's why you're trying to get us to come home. But that is not our home. We are home. The place that sold us can never be home to us. We are home. And we will not come back and save you from the turmoil that you caused on yourself.
Y'all went through all that trouble of doing those rituals to make sure that the 1% of people that were sent here to the United States, that their souls could not remember where they were from or how to take revenge out on you. And look, you brought your behinds over here, and now they followed you home. You showed them the way back to enact revenge on you.
1 week later.
Ghana, March 30th, 2026.
But still on floods, the Ghana Meteo is warning residents in the Ashanti, Eastern and Western regions to prepare for more consistent rainfall in the coming days. Accra and some other parts of the country have already experienced the rains this dawn, with flash floods in some parts of the city. According to senior meteorologist Joshua Asamoah, these regions will experience intermittent but sustained rains throughout the week.
And I hope the ancestors come up from the ground and tear your ass up. May the ancestors follow.
And there you have it. And there you have it. But I also want y'all to see that not only are they trying to take our reparations, but also trying to hijack Juneteenth. And I blame the pan goofies for that. I blame the pan goofies for this foolishness. Y'all see the prices for a year return? Like Brooke said, you broke.
I was there in 2019.
Brother Tab been there more than once. The tourism game.
That was the last time I was there, actually. And I said I wasn't going back for a while. That was. I quote you every chance I get.
They try to get my brother over there in the scam. They try to get my brother.
But I'm from New York. We don't play that. We know a hustle when we hear one.
Come on, we the masters of 3-card Monty over here. We don't play them games.
Word.
we don't play them games. But with that little bit of tourism over those few years, help bring up their economy. But I want your thoughts, Brother Tab, because you say you saw it too. How they trying to hijack Juneteenth? And why none of these pan goofies is talking about this stuff?
Well, they're not talking about it because it fits the narrative.
That's right.
It fits the narrative. Cognitive dissonance kicks in. Anytime you got evidence that contradicts your previous belief system and you ignore it, that's cognitive dissonance. And folks are upset with you and I, Sister Keisha, because we've pivoted. We were once of that mindset until we got new information and we updated it. But when I saw that, like, we all know that Juneteenth is all about the emancipation of Black people in America after the fact, down in Texas. Right. I forget what city it was, but we understand the history of Juneteenth. So for them to attach themselves to it when that's not even their experience, it's not even their history. But again, whatever we're doing, people latch on. Will you say, Sister Keisha, that pissed them off? They always lean on us. They always lean on. How do you attach yourself to something that didn't happen on your soil or to your people and then try to claim it? And homie in that video talking about we share everything. Nah, my G. As Sister Brooke said, you sold us. You sold us. How you want to get compensated? You want to get compensated twice. First time for selling the folks off, and then you want to get bust down and jump the line. But again, and I tell people this as a former Pan-African, thank you, Brother Divine, Galveston, Texas. That's right. as a former Pan-African, the prevailing thought is that they're our leaders, that they are the prototype of whatever we should become. So that opens the door and the floodgate for them to take leadership and be whatever they say we are. That's why you got the AU trying to jump the line for reparations and make us what they call it, the sixth
region.
The sixth
region.
I try not to pay no attention to that because it's so insulting.
It is.
They try to make us the sixth region. No, we're the first and the only region that's owed reparations by the United States. Don't try to attach yourself to our claim. And they don't realize what they're doing is muddying the waters because, again, as it's been stated on this platform before, when these people get money for being continental, when they get money for being Caribbean, we don't get a piece of that, nor do we ask for it. But they always find it easy for them to try to double dip. They's like, oh, let's get this little Caribbean, continental African bread over here. Oh, and we get some Black American money because we Black and we in America. So that makes us a Black American. And everybody's upset because we said no more. No more. Everybody got to get off our back. They keep, and I hear people, right, sis, keep saying we don't fight white supremacy. I never heard a bigger lie than that. Because if it was up to white folks, we'd still be on plantations, using separate bathrooms. In 2026, if it was left up to them, I always say everything we have is not at the beneficence of white folks. It's because we fought, rather the benevolence. It's because we fought for everything we got, for our emancipation, for civil rights. We fought Jim Crow laws. We fought everything. That is our legacy, and that's what we stand on. It's unfortunate that it has to be that way because people we once viewed as allies are now poking holes in our ship. You know what I'm saying? We never had to delineate before because we accepted everybody Black as our own. But as soon as their numbers start swelling, we see that they don't see us as theirs. As soon as they get their little click, or you a Yankee boy, or you this, or you that, like, word, you in my crib talking strong? All right, let me show you something. And you know, just like down south, we throw a hat in the air, grab a folding chair. Let's get it popping with whoever. You know what I mean? But in 2019, and I'm gonna fall back on this. In 2019, I was the last time I was there. For those who may not know, I was slated to be installed as a chief in Ghana. Asked me the chief of what? They wanted to make me the chief of development. Now I'm a little smart, just a little smart. And the chief of development sounds like somebody in charge of developing. But what do you need to develop something? You need bread. You need money. So I'm in charge of developing your villages. And soon as I got there, Sister Keisha, Sister Brooke, hear me. As soon as I got there, they was on me. I didn't even get settled in the hotel yet. They was like, Brother Tad, you ready? We got to go get you some sandals. I said, I got sandals. No, you need a special kind of sandals. We got to get this kente cloth. I said, well, how much all that's going to cost? They said 900 and something, close to $1,000. Nigga, I ain't even unpacked my bag yet. Yeah. I said, I don't want to do it no more. I'm good. My elder, God bless her soul, she's like, you don't want to do it? I said, nah. She said, why? And I didn't want to, God bless my Mylene. But I said, I already got enough commitments. You know, I ain't want to bust her bubble because, you know, she's been on the continent for decades. You know what I'm saying? Think like since the 70s, you know, back and forth from America to the continent. But I was like, I got too many obligations going on right now and I can't do it. But the real reason is like, yo, y'all not going to play with me. Y'all not going to, because bad enough, sis, they was hitting me on my phone every time you turn around. Need money for this, need money for that. I'm like, yo, nah. And I have no problem with saying nah. I don't say no. I'm like, nah. N-A-H. Nah. Brooklyn style. Nah, we're not doing that. You know, but I seen it as a money grab because now the first time I went to Africa, I went 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 was the last time. 2016, 17, and 18, the prices was one price. You should have seen how they ballooned in 2019. You should have seen how the prices ballooned. And I was explaining to the group. They was like, oh, no, but they said this is a good price. I said, no, it's not. It's not a good price. And then I said, would you buy stuff from Times Squares? Would you buy souvenirs and bottles of water? He was like, hell no. Why not? It's too expensive, right? I said, this is what they're doing to you right now. Stuff is so much cheaper, and they're trying to rob you. We went to Kumasi, and the vendors was out there. There's vendors everywhere. And they was trying to sell the people that I was with some stuff. And once they found out they was with me, because they was like, oh, Brother Tad. They said, you with Tad? All right. They knocked it off by like 75%. 75% off the price. And I said, this is what I keep trying to tell y'all. This stuff is not expensive. They only doing this because it's the year to return, and they trying to make money because so many Black Americans went back looking for their roots. But one thing that really resonated with me, and I'm going to step off my soapbox, there's a lot of cemeteries there. And I was just thinking, like, I wouldn't be able to go to one cemetery and visit any of my family. But in South Carolina, Little Mount, South Carolina, where my father's side of the family is, my grandfather's family, where he's buried, and in Charleston, South Carolina, where my mother's father is buried, is nothing but my ancestors. It's my grandparents, parents, and grandparents. Because we got to remember, in the South, a lot of the cemeteries were segregated, buried at the family churches, because a lot of our Black folks had churches, and we had places where we had to bury them. So I've been to the one in Charleston, and I've been to the one in Little Mount, South Carolina. That's where my ancestors are. That's where they're interned. In Ghana, I couldn't do that, So when we would, it really gave me something to think about when we talk about our ancestors at these lectures and events that we go to as Pan-Africans. Why do we ignore our own ancestors and acknowledge other people's ancestors? And that never sat right in my spirit, especially knowing my grandparents and great-grandparents. But I'm going to step off my soapbox.
I feel you, brother. I feel you. I have been given so many opportunities to go to the continent, free of charge, mind you. But it was always something in me that wouldn't allow that to happen. So, back in 2013, I really started researching my family on my mother's side. That is, I started doing serious research on my mother's side, asking my aunts and uncles who were still alive questions. And so my uncle Sonny, he introduced me to my grandmother's first cousin, who I had never met via phone. And he told me a family reunion was coming up that very year. And then he gave me the number to the family genealogist. And so I set up a meeting with my mother's oldest sister at her house, via phone rather, so that they can talk to the family genealogist. And I told him on the phone, I'll be there. I will be there. So I talked to my sister and talked with my daughter, and I said, we all going. And so, one of my aunts was a little reluctant, but I said, this is the missing piece that we don't have. I got to make it. And so when I got there, mind you, this first cousin of my grandmother's, he spent over 30 years in naval intelligence. And so he was away from the family most of his life. And when he left the military, he moved to the state of Washington. And so when I got down there, he was the first person to greet me, because the family is so large. We were in different hotels along the strip. This was in South Carolina. But we were in different hotels, and I was staying in a different hotel than he was. But when we arrived, my sister, my daughter, and myself, when we arrived, he was there waiting for us. He was in his 80s. He was there waiting for us. And so we had lunch together, and, he gave me some more information. And then he gave me a family tree with all the missing pieces that I had that were disconnected. And so the next morning, he was there at 6 a.m. to have breakfast with us. So that morning we were taking a trip to the family's burial ground in Still, South Carolina. And it had rained like a month prior, just constant rain. So the grounds were very saturated. So the buses couldn't get all the way into the burial ground area. And so out of nowhere, all of these Black people came with pickup trucks to take as many of us as they possibly can to the grave site so we can get to see our first ancestor that was buried there. And I thought that was so amazing. So we get back on the bus, visit the family church, and see the cotton fields right across the street where we had once picked cotton. We get back on the bus, and my grandmother's first cousin was on the bus, who I had never met. His mother, and my great-grandmother were sisters. And he called me to the back of the bus. And so I went to the back of the bus, and he asked me to sit with him. And he just started weeping. He just started weeping because he had lived in Newark, New Jersey most of his life. And he said, I didn't know y'all was so close.
Wow.
Then he started telling me the stories of what he remembered of my great-grandmother as children, when they used to play as children. And he said, yeah, you're from the Cotton Wilson side. I said, the Cotton Wilsons? He said, yeah. He said, Bertie ain't play. She'll cut you in a minute. So anyway, you know, these two elders wouldn't let me out of their sight. And then things started to happen within Pan-African spaces, of which you are well aware of. And I had to do a step back from everything. I had to do a step back. But as I did that, I got closer and closer with the genealogy on that family side. And when I tell you I became close with so many distant cousins, it was unbelievable. Even my sister, when we got down there, it was like, everybody know you. She was like, you know everybody. Because I had been conversing with a lot of them via Facebook. So she said, you know, you're familiar with everybody. And we still have that closeness today. I say all that to say, you know, in recent times studying my father's side of the family, when my great-grandmother's transition, of course I wasn't born, but my parents were children, right? These are their grandparents, their grandmothers. And so they didn't know each other. Their grandparents didn't know each other. But look how things work out. When I started researching, I found that both of my great-grandmothers are buried next to each other.
Wow.
Right here in Brooklyn. You walk from one grave to the next. They are right next to each other. So, you know, I said, you know, I'm on the right path here. I'm on the right path here. And then things that were happening in my life, I started to see a lot of things differently. I cut off a lot of people, you know, and Brother Ty to tell you, I don't mess with a lot of people. Like, keep away from me with the foolishness. He'll tell you, he told y'all a few minutes ago, a lot of people pissed off with us. But you won't say that to me, though, because I'm not going to play with you. You know, when we were in familiar spaces, Mother Effers was quiet. They had nothing to say. We was right there in your face. You could have came to me with your full chest, but you didn't. So that just shows the cowardness in a lot of you. You know, a lot of you like to leech on to things to make you feel good because you don't come from a lineage of greatness.
And sis, you know what? And they don't have an intellectual leg to stand on. As much as they like to play like they're so intelligent. And I mean, this is simple.
Mm-hmm.
This is simple. We're honoring our parents' parents and their parents' parents. Like, you kidding me? Like, where's the disconnect?
Mm-hmm.
And they always want to say, but no, y'all ignoring the African. Like, we recognize our African ancestry. But at what point do we acknowledge our ethnogenesis and the fact that we are now American people? That's what your passport say. When you go fill out them immigration cards, if you leave out the country and they ask you your nationality, you don't be like African. You don't say that shit. You be like, I'm an American. And you say it with your chest. When you go in these other countries, if you get in trouble, the first thing you're going to holler is, I'm an American. Where's the U.S. Embassy? So please cut it out. But the problem we have with so many people is, again, the cognitive dissonance. What is wrong with Black people celebrating their own lineage, our own unique history, our own unique culture? There was no family reunion prior to us. We created that here in America to reunite our family. The culture that we created, even hanging on the corners. You know, sis, I didn't understand why we hung at the corner stores. But, you know, reading all these books behind me and stuff, learning our story, learning our culture. Another good book to read, too, this sidebar, is a book called Bullwhip Days, The Slaves Will Remember. It's their firsthand testimony. It's an excellent book. But the reason we hung out at the corner stores because when people were sold...
Wait, what was the name of that book? Sorry.
Bullwhip
No, I like
Days.
the word.
The Slaves
Bullwhip.
Remember. Bullwhip. Like,
got you. Got it.
Bullwhip Days. The Slaves Remember. It's their firsthand testimony, and it's kind of hard to read it because it's in their dialect. Like, work is not W-O-R-K, it's W-U-K. Work. Well, in fact, I'll grab it off the shelf in a minute. But what I'm saying is that us hanging by the store is because after people were sold off of the plantations, no matter what town you were, people were looking to reunite their family. So whoever was still in that town, let's say it's Charleston, South Carolina, and you hanging by the general store, you be like, yo, what happened to such and such from that plantation? Oh, they got sold off in Virginia. They got sold off to Baltimore. And that's how folks started finding their families, putting them back together, hanging out at the stores, because there was no television, there was no cell phone, wasn't no TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook. There was no electronic media. It was only the word of mouth. That's why everything you said had to be bond. Your word had to be your bond. You know what I'm saying? We had to take you for your word. So this is how we started hanging out by the stores, because this is where information was transferred. This is how we put our families back together. This was the start of the quote unquote family reunions. But most people don't know the story, especially people who Johnny-come-latelys, who try to attach themselves to our story about the enslavement, but don't know the nuances of our culture as foundational Black Americans. There's some things that we just inherently know in how we deal with each other because it's part of our culture. It's things our grandparents taught us because of what their grandparents taught them. So certain levels of decency we know. So when they talk about crime in our community, yeah, everybody commit crime, but a lot of outlandish stuff be them folks from across the water in other parts of the world. It don't be us because they look like us and move in our community. They just blanketly say it's all of us, and that's not true. When you peel back the layers, you be like, yo, certain things we don't do and we don't support. So I'm
100, and you know, it's a beautiful thing to learn who you are and where you come from, because you know, a lot of our family members wrote their own memoirs. At least mine did. So the one ancestor that I found that came from the continent, he's buried in the still South Carolina. He had his own wording. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Now, in researching the Master family story is what led me to the reverse Underground Railroad. I found free Black people who were kidnapped and sold into slavery. There's 136 people in the room. Let's get the likes up. But I researched my family histories and discovered the reverse Underground Railroad. And I realized that a lot of things we were taught was wrong. We all didn't come from Africa. That, as you know, recent history shows that with the Albert Perry AOO gene, whose line have been here over 300,000 years. You can't throw that out. And going back to them scamming us, let me get my brother, President Divine of the U.S. Freedmen's Project, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Brother, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
What's going on, family? What's going on? It's a family reunion on the bridge.
Peace, brother president.
My brother Ty, what's going on? Real quick before you go in, I just wanted to say, you was in the space with us the other day. Sister Keisha and Sister Brooke was on the stage with us sharing what happened. But that video alone, for anybody that might have been confused or misunderstood our position as an organization or why we felt the need to come out and say what we said, for those that try to defend the resolution on its face to say, hey, why didn't you just agree with it, since they were saying that the transatlantic slave trade is the gravest crime against humanity. That video of that, and that's just not a regular citizen. That's a former politician, I think a former prime minister, if I'm not mistaken, in that video of Ghana. Understand that's what we were talking about. You got to understand, you got to learn how to read between the lines in this space. It's not about just what's said, it's about the intentions behind what's said. And that sentiment in the video is exactly what we as an organization saw alongside the other organizations in the space that signed on to our public statement and press release, because we knew that Ghana and those African countries were going to come and use that resolution to try and center themselves as the victims of the transatlantic slave trade so that they could then center themselves in our reparations in any form that it should take. And just there, I want to make this point clear because you guys are talking about culture, and I'm be quiet so you can continue cooking. There is a big difference between having liars in your culture and having a culture of lying. And so there are liars in every culture. But what we have found about many, if not all of those African cultures, they have a culture of lying. And that's why we have to gatekeep everything that we're doing right now.
He came in throwing flames.
I was about to say, he talking about we was cooking. He done came in with the barbecue grill.
With the tenderism.
True indeed.
Say.
Right? The soda glasses, all of it.
He came in cereal with the cake of milk. The milk.
Right, the pack of milk. Milk. You gotta say milk. I said, what? I never heard.
I tell you. But he's the former AU president or spokesperson.
Sorry.
Hey, look,
right.
when we was when we was Pan-Africans, I was requested to come speak with her to do a presentation, and I said, I got somebody that's better. They said, better than you? I said, y'all gonna love her. And I had Sister Keisha come through. I was like, sis, you wanna meet the she was the spokesperson, right, at the AU?
Yep.
So, and you know what, sis? I found the picture too. The picture we all took together and everything. Like, I tell you, so yeah. And I say this to people, as we delineate, they got to understand we was in the space. We was under the psychosis. We had the psychology. We had the language. We had the rhetoric. But when you're true to yourself, certain things you got to start shedding. You got to start saying, all right, this ain't really making no sense now. Because I get it. We supposed to be moving like this, but why are we moving like this and everybody else moving like that? You know what I'm saying? As Brother Divine said, the culture of lying. You know, people say, Harriet Tubman said she freed thousands of slaves and would have freed thousands or more if they only knew they were slaves. Nobody still has proven where that's been said. A lot of things we regurgitate based on who gives the information. If Dr. Such and Such says true, it must be true. If Dr. Sukiyana says true, it must be true. And a lot of people, they predicate their position on scholarship, but they do lazy scholarship. And then a lot of thought is just abstract. And if you got a comprehensive thought that you can piece together that's made logic, oh, brother, that's Eurocentric thinking you got. And then so here we go. So because it makes sense, it belongs to white folks. But if I talk about the pyramids on Mars and them aligning with, you know what I'm saying? If I start talking all that abstract stuff, then I'm deep. That's why you get the sucker polites and the young pharaohs and the Dr. Sukiana. They call them Umar. I call them Dr. Sukiana. You get all of these nut cases, these nut jobs, and they build a following of nut jobs. And you supposed to be down with that shit? Man, you don't get all the way out my face with that. But yeah, sis, I'm sorry. You just going to make a statement.
Nah, you cooking, brother. You cooking. And you know, but again, researching my own story, which would lead me back to the Schomburg, and that's when I found out about John Edward Bruce. You know, I was like, who is Schomburg and where he come from and who was digging him up? You got to dig deeper. You got to go deeper. So I found that book, A History of New York, 400 Years. And as I showed you in a couple of episodes prior, they confirmed only 1% came to these shores. So where did the slave labor come from outside of breeding? Where did it come from? Yep. So you have to, you know, and shout out to Trust Graham in the BK Mackey History Club. But Trust Graham also says, you know, you got to look at the whole picture. You can't pull out one or two things and stand on that because you give yourself a false reality. So it made me look even deeper on certain things. But as Tad said, we met with our Khan. Even my grandson was there as a baby. Was there because I brought him with me. But I want y'all to listen very closely to what she says about why they want us to come home. They just want to lean on us and use us. Hear her own words. Here we go.
I want to bring the children of Africa home because we understand the diaspora are Africa's true gold.
What's Africa's true gold? She said the diaspora. But that's another misnomer. We'll get into that. Hold on.
Think of the brains that are in the diaspora. Think of the monies in the diaspora.
What she said? The brains and the money.
The brains and the money.
Okay. Let's go.
If we can just repatriate those brains, repatriate those monies in an organized way, we don't need anybody.
And there you have it. And there you have it. Lean.
We are actually the only continent on earth that doesn't need the world. The world is Africa. Everybody knows it. There's not a single strategic planning session by any country around the world outside Africa that doesn't start with Africa. Because everything they need can and is being found in Africa.
And yet the Africans can't seem to use it. The Africans can't seem to get it. They need us as the brain power. Don't let me get started on their IQ levels, but I'll continue.
So we have what it takes, and they know it. You know, they're very jealous of us, actually very envious of what we have as a people. So not only have they gone after our natural resources, now they're going after our human resources. You see, they've gone for so many decades of reduced reproductive process. Now, the age gaps in their nations, huge. They're now looking for people to take care of them when they age. I just want to.
And there you have it. There you have it. Their own words. There you have it. I don't got to make up nothing. There you have it. Brother Devon, your thoughts on that clip? Because I see Sister Brooke is already steaming.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, it's not even just the quiet part out loud. It's the only part out loud. It's the only plan out loud. They're banking on us. That's why we're the number one target of this religion of Pan-Africanism. They never go to these other countries outside of Africa and try to convince them that their ethnogenesis didn't matter, that the culture that they built up doesn't exist. It's only us. Because the part that she didn't say, that she also did say, if you understand what she's actually saying, is that the gold and all the monies are with foundational Black Americans. Anybody else as successful as we are as a demographic? Ain't nobody putting up the numbers that we've put up, despite popular belief, despite working hard, and I don't mean from the Bullwhip book, not WK, WHK, we walk hard. All those are the myths that the delineation movement is debunking in real time. That's why everybody's panties are in a knot and in a twist. Because all those lies, that culture of lying, right back to it, all of them are starting to fall by the wayside. Right in line with what Brother Tad was saying, how you know, we've heard all these lies. We've heard what Harriet Tubman said that she didn't say. Here's another good one. Jesus said, God helps those that help themselves. That ain't never been said, but you go to any church in America, especially a Black church, and they're going to tell you. That's why it's not working for you, because God helped those that help themselves. Where was that at? Tell me what book and what verse. And all these false prophets of the Pan-African religion have been getting away with this level of the gospel, so to speak, to stay with that analogy. And what we're finding out is that they were false prophets. It's heresy. It's blasphemy. And so now we're just calling it out. The real arbiters of truth are here. See, that's what she didn't say that she should have said. Along with the gold and resources and the monies, the truth that sets you free is here. But they want us to come out and come there to set them free. They never imagined that we were going to use all that truth, all our cultural property and our lineage and our stories, and we've turned that around. And just like we did with emancipation, we set ourselves free. And now everybody else is scrambling because they don't have us to, like you said, in the words of Sister Keisha, because somebody did say this, and I was there when it was said, now they can no longer lean on us.
Sis, you still got that video? Because that pissed
I do. I'm going to play it just before I bring the flamethrower in, because he or she is ready to get in here. He or she is ready to get in here. They said it's hot. TBT is hot. But it's the pan goofies that's also a problem.
We knew we're in this reparation movement for over 30 years. Not these new kids on the block, but those who've been in the movement for over 30 years. We said we want these organizations to pick at least two members of that commission each.
Ain't do nothing.
So two members of
How
that
you been here for 30 years and you ain't do nothing? You ain't handle no business in 30 years. How you here for 30 years and you ain't handle no business? How you here for 30 years and you ain't handle no business?
If we give us, y'all look this way, they can handle that. Look this way over here. They can handle that.
I'm not. No. You're disrupting. No.
We are experienced. We know how to do security. We know how to demand respect at our rallies. So we will take care of that. Don't give it any.
Shout out to Melrose. Melrose be everywhere.
Everywhere.
180 people in the room. Get the likes up. Thank you, DJ Timms, for hosting us on Twitch. Thank you, DJ Timms. But these pan goofies try to act so tough. But I know what's up. I know what's up. I gotta tell y'all, I know what's up. They know what's up. Mother Effers who out there barking are quiet as a church mouse when I pull up. Not on the side of them, in his face. Ask Tad how he was looking all around nervous. What you nervous for? You nervous because you know I know. You a sucker.
Yeah, we pulled up Brooklyn style too.
Brooklyn style. And look how the ancestors work. He had to sit right across from me. Him and Dr. Sukiyama. None of them had
at the same table. Yeah, we was at the same table.
At the same table.
Because all of us were slated to speak.
Facts. Facts.
Hey, yo.
Tab's like, yo.
That's why I swear, you know, as I'm sitting looking,
that's why.
You know, and I was going to say real quick, because, you know, coming in the movement, just being active in the movement, I have a lot of respect for the work a lot of these people have done. That New Kids on the Block, Johnny Come Lately, like Brother Melrose said, yeah, 30 years and what's been done, you know? And this is no indictment, because I tell people I'm getting old now. Like I don't know all that I thought I knew at one point. That's why it's so easy for me to pivot from the Pan-African movement. Because when I do my own independent research and study, a lot of things ain't adding up, you know? So I'm humbling myself and open to receive new updated information. I always say some of these people are so invested in the rhetoric and the ideas that they're afraid to pivot because they feel they're going to betray their elders. They're going to betray their teachers, you know, because I remember, and it's funny, I was thinking earlier when I was riding around East New York with Charles Barron in my truck, you know what I'm saying? Him showing me all the things that he's done when he was city council for East New York, you know. I was thinking about all the events I attended that was organized by Brother Omar Wally Clay, who was in the camera in Melrose face. You know what I'm saying? Like these are people I was learning under. And to see where they are now, that's why it's weird for me, but it's not, because I'm my own man and I do my own thinking, you know, and I encourage others to do that for themselves. Do your own thinking. Don't be swayed by other people's thoughts and opinion. Take what they say with a grain of salt. Receive the information, do your due diligence, cross-reference it, and form your own conclusion. But unfortunately, so many people are stuck in the rhetoric and the idea. They're afraid to break loose. It's like a poverty mindset. When you see people in the hood, they always talk about they want money and how did you get a job? You tell them, you give them resources and they don't take advantage. You know, they just want to reap the benefits without putting in the effort. It's the same thing with a lot of people in the Pan-African movement, because the objective is to unify all Black people on the planet and
knock it off. Good. You know, and shout out to Doggy Diamonds.
Yeah, shout out to Doggy.
Doggy said I was never with that pan goofy shit.
Yeah.
It didn't make no goddamn sense. And shout out, peace be upon my Aunt Nisi, who transitioned a couple of years ago. She said, I told you he wasn't no goddamn African. You know, but just listen to your family. Listen to your family. Shout out to Brother Ray Ray. He said they took the money. We know where the book is buried.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Brother Ray Ray.
We see folks, they talk slick, you know, on social media, but when you see us, you quiet as church mouses. That's the stuff in you. Because you don't want no smoke with me. You know, you don't. One phone call and it's up for everybody who knows you. So I'm not the one you should be playing with. And I guess they know that. And you should. But let me play this for the aunties, because the aunties set it off right. And then we're going to bring in our special guest.
Oh, can I just say something about Charles Barron real quick?
Oh, go ahead, brother.
Before you get to the aunties, yeah, I want to say this because this is the same energy that, you know, that MJ had talking about Michael Jordan when he got into the league, right? And all the players that came before him, and when it looked like he was going to earn the crown that was being given to him, it was that old mindset of get off my lawn kind of rhetoric that Charles Barron was saying here. But just so the family understands, because we came in this game on the humble, showing respect for people that did actual work. And like I said, for all his flaws, there was a time where Charles Barron did good work, right, throughout Brooklyn, that I was able to look up to, and especially not knowing all the details of what that work entailed, I admired it. So when we got into this game, we understood the bill that we were opposing was one that he wrote alongside the Pan-Africans. So he was the one that wrote that bill with the Pan-African organizations baked into the crust, written into it, so that they will control everything that happens on that commission. And still, we went to him humbly to say, hey, we saw this. We're not really understanding, why you wrote these organizations into the bill. It does, you know what I'm saying? For all the stuff that I know, of you and all the clarion calls you were putting out before you got into those seats of power, and that is key. You was talking about standing on principle. You was talking about, doing the right thing, even when the right thing is the tough thing to do. See, but what happens is that the only person that can't be co-opted is somebody that never had a price. But when you have a price, all that's going to happen is you're going to hold out to the person that has enough to pay it comes around. And whoever had as much as he said he needed, or he felt he needed to pay his price, they came. And he sold out and became this person that was just ready to be like, I liken it to what's going on, what I call blue MAGA and red MAGA, not to go off too much of a tangent. But it's like nobody really, when you look at both sides, nobody's really opposing fascism as so much as they just want their fascist to be the one that gets in power. And so they're not against it on the principle of fascism. It's like, well, I want my fascist to get in, and then I'm cool because I believe, just like most people and most followers of any fascist, I believe that my fascist is doing it for the right reasons. And that's what happened, in my opinion, with Charles Barron and the way in which he wrote that bill. They were so used to getting locked out of power that when he got a little bit of a taste of it, he's like, well, I'm going to lock in the power, regardless of what anybody else in the community thinks of that. And I'm saying all that to say we still came to him humbly, even though we knew he was of that ilk, because he claimed to be a champion of Black folks. And so we wasn't new kids on the block coming in trying to take their position. We came in as students trying to understand what was the work you put forth and what was the reason on why you did what you did with this bill. And they're the ones that turned their back on us when we were trying to get an understanding. And so we didn't burn a bridge or close the door or come in disrespectfully. But just the official position of the U.S. Freedmen Project is we on that DMX energy. It's just mutual. So when it's F me, it's F you. And that's why we organized and mobilized and got that bill thrown out. Not because we were trying to come in and be disrespectful, but it's like, if you're not going to explain to us why you are practicing these unethical tactics, then we just going to shut the whole shit down, and you're just going to have to explain it to your people why it didn't go through. And that's what happened. And so when you see him saying that in regards to and directing that to Brother Melrose as well, but more so Reverend Coachman, because at that time he knows who Reverend Coachman is. I just want that to be known. She's not a stranger when she goes to that, when she's at that gathering. So he knows who she is, and he knows what organization she's from. And that's why he was throwing those shots and trying to get her out of there, because he had already refused to work with us. So he was expecting us to never show up again. And so we've been here, and in my humble opinion, supplanted and replaced everything that he was trying to do, because he used to fight for Black folks, but now he fights for the ideology of Pan-Africanism. We came in on the block not as new kids, but as the only kids that were fighting for foundational Black Americans and our lineage and our ancestors, full stop, in this space. And so that's what you have a real problem with. Not that the new kids came, but that kids finally came and fought for what you were supposed to be still fighting for, and maybe at one point did before your price got matched.
We about to take a nerd trip this weekend. Just ask me as a reminder. And I think Taz still work out in the same place as Ray Ray. Ask Ray Ray Taz. And I'll just leave it at that. Okay? All right. All right. So let me play this clip from the aunties, and then we're going to bring in our special guest. because they ready to get in heavy.
Phyllis Coachman. And then help me out with this. I think last name is Sharif. Last name is Sharif. I don't want to mispronounce it.
Good afternoon. My name is Ladie Streeter, and I am here as a descendant of persons enslaved in the United States. I support the U.S. Freedmen Project. I support lineage-based reparations because the harm done was specific and its impact continues across generations. My family's roots are in the South, in North Carolina, where my parents were born and raised. Like many others, they lived through a time when opportunities were limited and treatment was unequal simply because of who they were. They later moved north in search of better opportunities, as many families did. But even after leaving the South, the barriers persisted. Discriminatory practices such as redlining and unequal access to housing and resources continued to shape what was available to them. So while the location changed, the conditions did not fully change. The history did not stay in the past. It carried forward into access, into opportunity, into what was available and what was not. And today, we still see the results. Data continues to show that US-born Black Americans, descendants of those enslaved in this country, fall behind in key areas such as income, wealth, home ownership. The issue is not about comparison for the sake of division. It's about recognizing that a specific history requires a specific response. Lineage-based reparations are not about exclusion. They are about accuracy. They ensure that policies properly acknowledge the people whose ancestors endured slavery in the United States. So I stand here today in support of reparations framework that includes clear lineage-based considerations for American freedmen. Because when the harm is specific, the remedy must be specific as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And please submit your testimony if you haven't.
Amen, Sister Ladie. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Reverend Phyllis Ida Coachman, and I am a founding member of the U.S. Freedmen Project. Reparations is a lineage-based claim rooted in a specific historical harm, enslavement in the United States, and the badges and incidents of slavery. New York State and New York City have developed targeted programs, services, and offices for other populations, including immigrant communities, and just recently, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani signed an executive order establishing an Office of LGBTQIA+ affairs. These broader efforts are supported by billions in recent funding. The question is not whether these resources should exist, but why New York State and New York City have not established a similarly targeted structure for American freedmen. In fact, the last federal institution specifically established to serve our people was the Freedmen's Bureau, created in 1865 and effectively ended by 1872. I want to be personal. My great-grandfather, Reverend Isaac Coachman, a pastor who served for decades in the AME Church, walked 28 miles in February of 1868 to a Freedmen's Bureau office in Georgia to defend a complaint. That was a man seeking justice, protection, and recognition within a system meant to support newly freed people. And yet, generations later, We are still here asking for restitution and recognition. Lineage matters, not to exclude, but to properly address the harm. I respectfully urge this commission to ensure that any reparations framework include clear lineage-based consideration for American freedmen.
Thank you so
and
much.
to support the creation of policies and structures.
Thank you.
And restitution. One more.
Please,
okay.
Please submit. No, I was going to say, please submit it if,
All right.
if
Thank
you will.
That's
Thank you so much.
Address our lineage. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And he was only doing that to us. Pissing me off.
Facts. Facts. And Ron Daniels is sitting right next to him. Right next to him. So I just want y'all to know that. But anyway.
I just want to add a tidbit of foundational Black American history, culture, and trivia. Not trivia, but just maybe answer to a trivia question answer. The first auntie that got up, her name is Ladee Streeter, and she is actually a background singer on that Happy Birthday song by Stevie Wonder that has been sung throughout the ages.
Oh, wow.
For our community and for our people group. Yes, we do. So it's on the album, on the song.
And she got to get
crazy
anthem for FBA. Because that's our version. She got to get Stevie to do another song, an anthem for FBA.
Yes, that would be powerful.
Because that's our song. When birthdays come, we sing that one.
100%.
Stevie been co-opted, so I don't know if Stevie don't want to do it.
I forget what they call him. I think the last time I looked up,
A Ghanaian.
An American it's something. Not a Ghanaian American, it's like an American Ghanaian or something like that. I'm like, what the hell?
He couldn't see the writing on the walls. Give him a pass. Stevie, I still
God, the crazy. But I'm bringing in a special guest tonight. I didn't tell the team who it was. Sister Brooke was trying.
I think I know though. I think I figured it out. I think somebody spilled the beans in the chat.
And because she nosy,
I am nosy.
She can't help herself.
I got to investigate.
So when I was talking with the person, I said, we gotta keep it on the low. It's gonna be a surprise for the team. So, when this brother was really talking about real things back in the days, and I was the MC at UAM, nobody was talking about this dude. Nobody. And so I went to Mrs. Maddox and I said, we got to get him in New York. And it was the Pan Goofies who was like, well, who is he? We don't know who he is. Don't know who he is. I'm paying for him to come up here. That's what you need to know. And, he has become a friend. Those of you who do know, especially those on the panel right now, know that I had some serious challenges. And I'll just leave it at that. And so this person would call me and pray with me every day. Every day. If he didn't talk to me, he'll send me a prayer and still send me prayers to this very day. He himself has gone through some serious health challenges, something that we mutually share, unfortunately. But we are fighters. And so he and I continue to fight. But anyway, he is the person who told me to get hold of Sister Brooke and take her under the wing because she got a fire in her belly and New York is dangerous with fake ones. They are like, you ever seen that movie Food of the Gods with the big giant rats? You can check that out on YouTube. It's called Food of the Gods. And these huge human-like sized rats took over a rural town. But in New York, the Pan Goofies are just that. the boule is just that. And so I said, look, to him, I said, look, you know I'm not with the shits. So if she ain't on the up and up, I'm gonna call you back. It's gonna be a problem. That's it. Cause I don't got time for crazy. Cause I done seen too much in this city, including those that we had the video of earlier. We'll talk about them on our nerd trip this weekend. So without further ado, and if you need help in your genealogical research of your family, this person can help you out. He's available for hire. He can help you out. My brother from another mother, from the D, Dr. Randy Short, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening?
How are you? MFM, everybody.
What's up, Dr. Short? All right.
I'm good, Brother Ted.
We got to go on mother money.
Incredible listening to all of you. Forgive me, may I do a story on Stevie Wonder? Or as I call him, Stevie Blunder. This is 2026. In 2013, I was asked to intervene. I don't know why people think I'm so special. They wanted someone to intervene to discourage Stevie Wonder from supporting the Israeli Defense Force, for which he was going to do a fundraiser. The same ones who are murdering people and murdered the folks in Libya helped to set this stuff up. Stevie Wonder was literally working with the crazy Zionistic, Khazarian, anti-Black Jews. And I remember one of the pan goofies, whose name is Didon Kamathi, who I know you've heard of, Sister Keisha. Basically, it says, who could make Stevie Wonder think twice about doing it? So they had me come on their radio show. And I started writing Stevie Wonder. I love Stevie Wonder. You won't believe this. I had just sent a video of Uptight from 1966 to my friend in Minnesota when y'all brought up Stevie Wonder. And the joke that I told was, we all knew Stevie Wonder was blind. What we didn't know that he was stupid. And I started clowning Stevie.
I did. Ain't that right, Brother Ted?
That's the only point of contention.
And so it said he's blind and stupid. Now I get it. And I was part of the encouraging people to picket Stevie Wonder's radio station. I told him we should take it from him. He can't see it anyway. And Stevie Wonder backed out because there was a movement against Stevie Wonder supporting the apartheid state of Israel that supported the apartheid in South Africa. And these Zionists terrorize us here in America, and they're coming here after having murdered people in Gaza and everywhere else. They're coming to your New York, to Chicago, to DC. We're going to catch hell from these people. Now, do you know who took Stevie Wonder's place after I clowned the hell out of Stevie Wonder? Shaka Coon. Or should I say Shaka Khan?
No, Ted. Listen, Ted.
And so I basically, because she went ahead, they roped her into it because she's under Ari Emanuel. I basically redid Melly Mel's intro from I Feel For You. And I started off going, Shaka Coon, Shaka Coon. and basically I changed the words to I feel for you to I don't feel for you. Right, baby, when I look at you, I see a big Jewish dollar sign. I don't care about what they do as long as they meet my bottom line. I'm not lying, baby. So I did like a rap spontaneously over the thing. And apparently it was on a Pacifica station. So, you know, Shaka Coon, Steve, all of these entertainers and people are sellouts, almost all. And but the good news is, no matter how much money these people have had, if you really learn our history and our lineage, they never, with all the guns, with more people, with even us, many of us being against, they never broke all of us. We're like a black freedman version of Hamas. No matter what you've done, some of us will not kiss your ass. And that says something about us. The money, the poison food, homo hop music. I mean, no matter what they put out, they never had enough power to break us all. And that we need to emphasize and see this in ourselves as our resilience and our strength. And one of our greatest strengths is family. Okay. Brooks' family is from McCormick County, South Carolina, which is it's on one side of the Savannah River. And my family's exactly across the river from where her family's from. And everybody knows that people cross the river to marry people to keep from having retarded kids. There's a high probability that she is extended family, right? And the same way I meet Sister Keisha, only to learn years later that I have family on the Eastern Shore. I have family that were, the name is, one name, because the white folk pushed them around. You know, when you see the covered wagons, those are called Conestoga wagons. The Conestoga are my people. These were people that were as tall as 7 feet. I'm a midget. My grandfather was a runt in his family, and my mother's kind of a runt. They're runts, but my great grandmother was like 6'4", 350 pounds for size 15 shoes, born in the 1870s. You have to understand that's a giant woman now. Imagine then how big she was. And she had a daughter that was 6'6", 400 pounds. Okay, so these are Indians who were designated as Black once they said they wiped out the tribe. And these tribes still, the name is Susquehannock. Susquehanna River flows through Pennsylvania. And these people lived on both sides of the Chesapeake Bay. So I have family from Harford County, which is right across the bay from the northern part of the Delmarva Peninsula, aka the Eastern Shore. And so I just meet Keisha, and first time I met this sister, I hope her husband doesn't strangle me. I just love this sister. Just as God, she's special. She's got it. Same thing I saw in Brooke. I just like. Do you realize part of this ethnogenesis that Tad is talking about? It isn't a mistake when you get along with certain people and you have a flow. Oftentimes, the people you like the most that you meet, it's not happenstance. They're actually your family. I just got this woman who's a financial planner. Her name is Johnson. This is a brilliant Black woman that's into showing folks how to hold on to their money. I'm going to give her a number to you, Sister Keisha. And she and I were talking, and I just felt, I don't even know this lady, a connection. So I asked her, because her number is down around Richmond, are you from Virginia? And she says, I live down here, but I'm not from there. I says, where are you from? She said, North Carolina. I says, wonderful. Where? She says, oh, you haven't heard of it. I'm from Ohoski. I says, I've heard of Ohoski. I have family in Ohoski. I named 2 families, and she says, I know them. And she says, I says, so we're probably related, sister. And she says, the place is so small. Yeah, probably. And I have this happen probably out of every 10 Black folks I meet, almost always one or two of them, even if I've never seen them before, their name is nothing like mine. Never seen them. They could be in Alaska. Nothing means anything. Ultimately, we have something in common. And the greatest thing that these pan-goofies, and I beg everyone's pardon, I have been a Pan-Africanist, not because I wanted to betray my people. I was always a reciprocal Pan-Africanist. I always wanted freedom and justice for us here. I never had this idea of to hell with America and let's all go to Africa. I never agreed with that. I always felt like some of us should be everywhere, like we should be in all the political parties like Jews. We should claim all of our lineage, not because I'm not the least bit ashamed of Africa, and I'm not ashamed of the Indians, and I'll go further. I'm not even ashamed of any cracker ancestors I have, because you have to use it. And see, when the Jewish people wanted their homeland, they used their dark Jews to do terrorist work and pass it off on the Palestinians. They used that diversity of lineage as a weapon. These Pan-Africanists are, we're all just African. That's bullshit. Just Africa. Africans, North Africans, Egyptians, they can't stand Libyans. Northern Egyptians don't like Southern Egyptians. The Turkish Egyptians don't like the Copts. I mean, you're just an African. Forgive me, Malcolm X and the other people, and I don't want to do this, but we have to do this. Malcolm X and some of the other people fucked us up. They did. Not because he meant to. I love Malcolm X, but he got a couple of things wrong. One, Islam is not a pathway to freedom for Black people. And if Islam is a pathway to freedom to Black people, explain why is Philadelphia so fucked up, why Dayton, Ohio is so fucked up, where you have these huge numbers of people who've converted to Islam, or as I call, forgive me, Sister Keisha, nigger Muslims. Why are things as jacked up with people who've converted to Islam as fake-ass people in the church I can't stand? At least we can sit down and eat food together without a fight. Your name, somehow I can trace you as a freedman. As I have to say to a lot of Negroes, could you please tell me your slave name? Please. A slave name. Just one of the slave names, anyone you want. A lot of what we were given was, I guess, it wasn't thought through. And I'm not mad. Malcolm X died at 39. Dr. King died at 39. Medgar Evers died at 39. I'm 61. I've had a chance to live long enough to make amends for anything stupid that I once did. I'm not saying all of what Malcolm X said was wrong. I'm not like that. I'm not throwing the baby out. I love Malcolm X. Let me repeat. I love Malcolm X, and Malcolm X is highly likely in my family because my relatives from South Carolina are named Little, and the Littles moved to Georgia, right? It's Malcolm Little, right? Just saying. I don't agree with all the Islamic stuff. Elijah Muhammad got a lot of things right, but he got some things wrong. I'm not from a lost tribe of Shabazz. Anything good that came from the Nation of Islam, that we can use, I'm interested. Elijah Muhammad is also a relative of mine. Dr. Martin Luther King, basically telling folks to get their behind beat for freedom. I like a lot of what Dr. King did. And you know what? I could put up with his zipper being down. At least we got something out of it from him. If you look at how little we got out of Diddy and them with their pants unzipped, I can forgive Dr. King for being a hole. At least there's something that we got out of it, okay? Dr. King's mother is a Williams. The Williams are related to the Zellers. My grandmother's a Zellers, it's highly likely Martin Luther King is my cousin. And this is the same for all of us if we really go back, because Martin Luther King's mother's from Greensboro, Georgia. The next big town from Greensboro, Georgia, I think is Lincolnton or Washington, Georgia. My family's from Washington, Georgia. I've been in Washington, Georgia for over 200 years. And Lincolnton, which is right across from where Sister Brooks' family's from. And then if we talk about where Sister Keisha's family's from on the Eastern Shore, well, and this is what I love to do, and that's why I said we have to claim all by lineage. It's our power. Part of our ethnogenesis is that some of us are the descendants of forced reproduction, rape. We can't undo it, but damn it, why not use it? Think of all the people that can pass for white that could be used more strategically instead of us being jealous of their grade of hair or them having lighter color eyes. Get that person to infiltrate. Everybody's infiltrating us. We've never thought to use our diversity as one people, as a weapon for freedom. Adam Clayton Powell was a terror. People, they're looking for a black dude and he's blonde. Okay. And it's the same way I've had to get some people straight. There's a congressman, Raskin from Maryland. You've heard of him. I had to embarrass him. I went to some party, Republican Party, and people asked me, was I from Africa? And I says, why would I be from Africa? They said, well, you have an African clothes. I says, you have an Italian suit. Are you from Sicily? And I says, well, are your parents? And I says, look, I says, the state of Maryland was started by my family, right? Lord Baltimore is my grandfather 9 generations ago. The city that we're in is named for my grandfather. When did your people come here? And the whiteys just, right? Because in reality, sirs and madams, our lineage is often much higher than they want you to think. I learned many years ago that the British were looking for the royal family. They were trying to find what happened to the royal people of British descent in America. You know that they know that some of us are their royalty. Not the Windsors, not those phony pedophiles, not those phony, what's this stuff called? The blood that they drink, mercurochrome, what's this stuff called? Adrenochrome. The adrenochrome drinking Windsors are not the real royalty. There's a greater chance that we are. Well, I am definitely, because I'm a Lancaster, going back 9 to 1,000 years. An uninterrupted line. And I don't know why these people were called freedmen. That's on my family's documentation. The freemen and freedmen were often from England and Ireland, meaning that there were people who looked like us that came from Europe. And some of these names are ours. Lancaster has always been a family name. Stewart, which means black, has always been a family name. The gentleman that paid for, commissioned the King James Bible to be written is my uncle 9 generations ago. We are the cream of the crop of the Indian, the European, and the African. And some of us are the cream of the crop of people from as far away as the Philippines and Central America. So I've got Inca and Mayan ancestry. Sister Keisha may have some, because when the Spanish wanted to break down the Aztecs and the Incas, they brought those people up here to America. There's a place in Maryland called Indian Head, Maryland, where they beheaded some Indians to keep these groups from mixing their bloodline and becoming a unified family. It's been said those are some of my ancestors that came up from Mexico and Peru. We are everything, and yet we are us. And so I enjoy getting someone straight and telling someone, because white folks, if reparations are given, you're going to be amazed at how many people claim freedmen lineage when there's money attached to it. If we can get some equity out of any of the other lineages, get it. Not to sell out being Black, but to bring it back across town once you get it. Don't stay on the other side once you get it. You get where I'm coming from. So, but now I want to just, oh my God, Brother Chad, Jesus, man, I thought I was going to speak in tongues and run on tables and all. Pan-Africanism is a scam. I have backed away from it, not because I don't want a unified Africa, but I have enough sense to understand that a unified Africa should be Africans' concern, because the Pan-Africanists don't tell you that Pan-Africanism for them is solely based on who's on the African continent. It does not include us. We're basically used by them the same way the State of Israel and AIPAC pimp the United States. There's no reciprocity there. The Arabs in North Africa do not like the sub-Saharan people. They treat them poorly. From Morocco to Egypt and Sudan right now, they have a race war where there are people who have literally bleached their skin white that go around murdering other people because they're Black. This is going on right now. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people have been killed. There's virtually a news blackout because the Arabs, the Muslims that Malcolm and all of us said we need to get up under because they were our friends. And Malcolm was duped by the CIA. Yes, he was. In fact, one of the people that was stealing bread off of Betty Shabazz's table was a Sudanese Muslim up around Malcolm, spying and stealing from Malcolm, stealing all their money. And Malcolm's trusting him because he's a Muslim and he's from Africa. We get into these cliches. It's shallow. Show me something. Don't just be, I mean, I don't want you to just listen to me because I'm me. I will bring something to you. If I don't have anything to bring, you should blow me off, right? We are more serious about a game of pickup basketball than our lineage, our survival, who we are as a people. And by the way, this encourages all these parasites to get up on us. Okay, when your immunity and a people's immunity is their family, when a people's immunity is broken, then the parasites, both oppressors, internal parasites, the boule, racists and others, attack us. We need to know where we're from. We need to know who's what and from where. It's very easy to break up Black crime groups. That's how most other people become wealthy. They use crime as a crude capital formation strategy to have money to go into legitimate business. No one does this better than Jews. Because our stuff is so broken up, and we'll take practically anybody in our gang or group. How many Black politicians get boasted speaking into the microphone on somebody's chest? You know, in fact, baby, what's this thing between your boobs? It sure feel good on my ear. And she's got a microphone. We don't, lineage matters. Who you are matters. The graveyard where your people, the counties. The Pan-Africanists wish to use us. They're selling us an opportunity to do wine tasting on the moon. And for us to have an ice cream bash on the sun. And our schools are in bad shape. Our people are being displaced from even the few public services that we could get. They plan to drink our blood. My first trip to Africa, I remember going to Senegal and there was no one to greet me. There were literally people at the airport, Africans who had studied how to steal from Black Americans coming to their country. This is 1983. You weren't even born yet, bro. Okay, this Alex Haley stuff, once these people realize, I mean, not that this didn't happen before, there's been a hustle in place for 49 years to steal from Black Americans. Alex Haley is a fraud. Alex Haley is a U.S. government agent. At the point in which Black folks were really trying to get their act together, towards the end of our really pushing middle 70s, they decided to divide and bust us up. And they did something that they haven't done since. Had a massive TV show to teach us that we all just came from Africa as slaves. And they did this with Roots. Roots is completely full of shit. Roots, I have signed copies. Sister Keisha, today, I'm going to go upstairs. I found the family album where I'm holding up my middle finger to Alex Haley in 1977. I was saying fuck off in that's 49 years ago. Roots was a scam. The Jews put it together. If you look at the producers, this was all to lie and deceive us. Roots isn't even a story on Alex Haley's family. Okay, and the person that Alex Haley used, the person that got screwed, was my cousin that died at the age of almost 94. I talked to you about this, Sister Keisha. Thelma Short Doswell is the mother of modern Black genealogy. She's my cousin. She's a Nottoway Indian who's also part Black and white. And she had a term that she was using called Afro-Marin, meaning that we were African, European, and Indian, one new people within this country. They didn't want that. So they put Alex on her. Alex stole from her, and they focused all the attention on Alex. The saddest thing, one of the saddest things in my life, was to go to see my cousin the last time in 2010. And I was pointing out to one of my cousins, who's from Ohaski, his family's from Ohaski, that there's a picture of Alex Haley with my cousin. And when I said Alex Haley, my cousin at this point had dementia, but when she heard Alex Haley, she's a really nice old lady, she started cussing and screaming, "God damn you, Alex. You came to steal from me. What more are you going to take from me?" And she was in a wheelchair pulling around, screaming at me. "You stole from me. You lied. You robbed me. What you come to take now, Alex? I mean, how'd you find me?" She was just going off about Alex Haley. It was so upsetting. We were asked to leave the house. Her son, you got to leave. You've upset her. Alex Haley stole everything from everyone else. He didn't even write the book. If you go back, when he lost the Corlander case, there were white people who wrote Roots for Alex Haley. This was a cycle. Roots was a precursor to Obama and the Jesse Jackson campaign for president. Every now and then they'll put out a new thing and we all get behind it, getting excited. And what it really is, it's meant to do is suck all the oxygen out of the room and destroy us. Dr. King, I'm not putting him down, but the civil rights movement in many ways is a scam. Instead of people really getting all of what they wanted, we got, if you're a prisoner in jail and it's time for you to eat and they bring you your tray of food and it's food, but they put some rat shit on it. Is it a meal that you want that you should eat? No. I said this on the other show I did with brother Alpha. I'm sorry,
Black Alpha.
Black Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
And I was mentioning that the Boule, in particular to the NAACP and the Communist Party, but more so the Boule, but still the NAACP was controlled initially by Jewish communists. It's a fact. They decided to betray human rights and reparations for Black Americans, freedmen in this country, exactly 80 years ago this year. 80 years ago. This is the 80th anniversary of the systematic betrayal of us by the Black elite. And the key to this is that they recognized, the whites recognized that Black folks needed reparation, restitution, and everything else. And so the deal was, we'll let you guys do little petty protests and we'll give you crumbs and we'll let you guys be the leaders of the community. But you can't go for the whole thing. And when Dr. King finally woke his, pulled his zipper up at least for a year or two, I hope, and decided to go after economics and all that, they put a fucking hole in his head. And we need to understand that. And part of our delineation has to include separating ourselves from Khazarians. Khazarians have been managing us, and people need to understand that what's going on right now in the Middle East is connected to Dr. King's assassination. Why am I saying that? Dr. King came out against the Vietnam War in a big way in New York's Riverside Church, April 4th, 1967. They shot him in the face April 4th, 1968. What happened right after, within weeks of Dr. King denouncing the war in Vietnam, one of the main people, they were Tether, and the Pan-Africanist Goofy, but that was pushing Dr. King to come out against Vietnam, is Stokely Carmichael. Stokely Carmichael and knew that King and them were getting all their money from Jews. They were. And he hooked up with the PLO, I think in the summer of 1967. Because the FBI and everybody knew that Stokely had a great amount of influence on Dr. King, a lot of folks wanted to see Dr. King dead. There's a book called The Matrokin Archive on the KGB. The communists in Russia wanted Dr. King dead because he did not start a violent revolution in which Black folks would be exterminated to overturn the system. We need to divorce ourselves from left, right, Zionists, Reform, Orthodox, whatever it is. If it is not us, if it doesn't deal with the bread and butter issues, if it's not building our families, building our communities, building our wealth, teaching us self-defense, right? And not helping us to recover our manhood or womanhood, we don't need it. That includes any church. A lot of churches are Pan-Africanists. You know why? Because we don't go to their bullshit anymore. This was so many times you're going to watch someone fake speaking in tongues. There's so many times a nigga's going to knock you down. You hit your head on the concrete floor of the church and acting like they had some kind of power. There's so many times someone's going to have like 15, 20 offerings in the service when you're on welfare. And the pastor's got a jet and a Bentley. Before, in particular, the people, Brooks' age and younger, these people need money for college debt and everything else. They don't have money for some fat preacher with a bunch of, there's a lot of adipose tissue that looks like a bunch of kielbasa crazy glued on the back of their neck. Who wants to give their money to someone like that? And half of the people are pedophiles, are studs, and child molesters, grifters. So the church is Pan-African. That's why you look at that little dude who's got the question mark shaped penis, who's questionable. Come on, Jamal Bryant. And his mama looked like Bullwinkle. And she passed last year. She did look like Bull. She didn't like me. I'm sorry. I mean, man, she's more man than he is. I said it. These people that are not for us, and we have to do everything we can to separate ourselves, and things are getting crucial. And also, there were 2 books. I sent one to both you, Sister Keisha, and to Sister Brooke, for people to understand how important family is. There's a book by a Jewish woman, Judith Giesberg, called Last Seen: Enduring Search of Formerly Enslaved People to Find Their Lost Families. Part of freedom was the family, people. Part of freedom was lineage. Part of freedom is the graveyard. Part of freedom is what county, which plantation, where, which river, which brook, which stream, where we from. Right? I was looking for a plantation. And last year I learned my grandmother, these people were free. No plantation. They're not from DC. They're not from down south. They're from southeastern Pennsylvania, northeastern Maryland. And their land was stolen. And they did a genocide on them. And the ones that survived all got classed as Negro. I've done enough research on my family. I've had a hard time finding Africans. I am not against having African lineage. I'm happy to have it. I'll take whatever's in my lineage is mine. But man, so many of these people are not African. I mean, it's been mind-blowing. I always tell people the story of my grandfather. When Roots was really big, I went and I asked my grandfather, Granddaddy, tell me about the people that were slaves in the family. Tell me about the people that were African in the family. My grandfather looked at me like I was on crack. I says, well, come on, Granddaddy, you know something. My grandfather says, I don't know nothing, son. He says, so there are no slaves in the family. I mean, there's no plantation. Nobody got raped. Nobody got beat. Nobody got sold. No Africans, nothing. And my grandfather says, I can't help you with no Africans. I don't know nothing about no Africans. I says, so then what are we? He says, well, my mother, our people are Indian. I can tell you about Indians. I can't tell you anything about nobody from Africa. Right? I says, well, then why do you guys go around being black? And I'll tell you part of what happened. The people who were already here had already experienced the warfare between the different indigenous people, because we were fighting each other when the white folk got here. Let's just be honest. Cherokees didn't get along with the Iroquois, even though they had some connection. These people all fought each other, and they were not unified. But you had a slave trade amongst the indigenous Aboriginal people in America. So a whole lot of people brought to America were people who were sent and broken in the Caribbean and then brought back. Right? Some of the people that were here that were indigenous understood we're not going to make it, accentuating that I am Piscataway and you're Pamunkey and you're Narragansett, right? And you're Nottoway. We got to just be one people. And so white folks put Negro, and they said, hell, let's just work with Negro. But even if you go back, there was a struggle because the people that were African often wanted to assert everybody was African, and you'll find there's great resistance to that. And there's ambivalence around black. Not so much of the skin color, but it didn't speak to who they were. And I want to just bring to you, because Brother Ted, he's so right about people using. I had to just break down to someone today. I think I told you about this, Sister Keisha, that I think Marcus Garvey got pardoned by Donald Trump. I think. If he didn't get pardoned, at least it was being considered. Let me make it clear. The reason that a pardon even got considered for Marcus Garvey by Trump, as crazy as he is.
It was Biden. Biden pardoned him.
Biden pardoned him, but the thing that was written up that Biden pardoned, there are two things that happened. Obama refused to pardon Marcus Garvey. Trump started and got distracted. Biden pardoned two people that I pushed for. I pushed for Abraham Bolton, the Secret Service person that got framed that knew that Kennedy was assassinated by a conspiracy, and Marcus Garvey. Trump's people were so stupid, they didn't do it for Bolton. But Bolton, who I've spoken to, knows that it started under Trump.
Yeah, me too. Tad and I spoke with him as well.
Okay, and because I pushed for Abraham Bolton and I pushed for Marcus Garvey to get pardons. I'm saying that to let you know I don't hate people wanting to bring folks together. We can help people in other countries, but our focus has to be here. So like I told folk, I've worked with people throughout the world that are Black. Everywhere, India, everywhere. But the fight is here. And I want to just remind people in Philadelphia, one of the first movements, there were two movements that were very important before the Civil War came. The abolition movement was one, and the Stay in the America movement was the other that's less heard about, because Pan-Africanism, there are two Pan-Africanisms. There is a white supremacist Pan-Africanism, and there is a I am somebody, and there I do have some lineage from Africa Pan-Africanism that is based in Black struggle. It's not saying that you have to go back to Africa. It's saying, it's reaffirming that Africans have worth, and now they're here in America. And that if we come together and work together under God, He's going to elevate us globally. It doesn't mean anyone has to go anywhere. There's a passage in the scripture that says, and Ethiopia shall stretch forth its hands unto God. It is many people of our lineage felt that means Black folks will eventually come together under God, and God will liberate us from these devils. It doesn't mean you have to go back to Africa. White supremacist Pan-Africanism teaches that Black people have no real history or culture in the United States, except for as slaves. And the only way that Black people can achieve greatness is to get out and go back to Africa. You will find people like James Smalls actually have a line that's more like a white supremacist, like Francis Scott Key and the other founders of the American Colonization Society, who came up with this idea called the providential design, that Africans needed to come to America, be somewhat civilized by white people, and then sent back to Africa to rebuild Africa and make Africa great. That these goofies, these pan-goofies, or as I call them, scam Africanists, they have a white supremacist ideology that they have spray painted Black. They got kente cloth. They chew on cola nuts. They do a whole bunch of shit that's not relevant. But at the end of the day, they discount and dismiss everything that's happened here. And there's nothing of worth here. In other words, they're saying we're inferior and worthless. The blood, toil, and tears, sweat, and suffering of our ancestors here has no intrinsic value. And therefore, we need to go back to Africa and assimilate. And assimilation is a process of ethnocultural destruction. We must be destroyed by Africans and remade into something else in order to have value. And you'll find that little lesbian that now looks like a queen ant. What's her name? Oprah Winfrey. She does look like a queen ant, right? She does now. Her head's all big, bobble looking head. I mean, she was better looking when she was fat. Okay. Oprah Winfrey and them, they keep pushing this color purple. The hope in the color purple is that your children will go to Africa and they will have some decency. Not in America. Even though the second movie, Nettie marries a Black American missionary, the kids are Africanized. Just by virtue of them being in Africa, they're going to be better than kids in America. Pan-Africanists teach that Black Americans are inferior. And I've been taught this at Howard University. I've heard it everywhere. We're less than Africans and Caribbeans. We don't have a culture. If you really want to get something, you need to go to the Caribbean. You need to go to Africa to find your real roots. What, we want Obia? We need Shango or Santeria? All you need to do is, I'm not picking on Black South Africans, but you know, they take and butcher children for charms, cut off baby penises and all this stuff, make soups and potions and stuff. That's in South Africa with the bisexual Mandela that you thought was for you. I called him bi. I'm sorry. And he was a communist. And racist ass Golda Meir is the reason that why they didn't kill him. They knew that Mandela was a communist and he would serve the interests of white people. It's interesting, the names are so similar. Obama, Mandela, 3 syllables. And both of them swing both ways. And so people, we need delineation. Now, I was saying we are American people. There's a woman named Maria Stewart, one of the finest, most wonderful. My favorite Black woman from the 1800s is a Black woman journalist, nurse, educator. She was so hard. Black people, fake Black people up in New England, in Boston, ran her out because she would go off on fake sellouts. I mean, she's one of the first. I mean, this lady would go out and give speeches and trash all the coons and the sellouts. And basically, it wasn't white people. The Blacks that were trying to sell out ran her out. She ended up coming down to D.C. and working as a nurse for Freedman's Hospital, the hospital my mother was born in. And she was doing everything that she could do to say, we're from here, and you're going to have to kill us. We're not going to give this country up. We made it. I brought her up because I always do this. I'm anti-feminism, but I'm radical for WASI sisters like Sister Keisha and Sister Brooke. The real Black women, we have to stand by them, support them. I have a couple of sisters. I don't have a lot, but when they need something, I send money, send cookies, celebrate birthdays. A lot of sisters are single. I'm not trying to pick them up or anything, but just keep standing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I had a friend, hadn't had a job for 3 years. We prayed every day. Now she's got the job. Right? Don't lose your house. I'm a great help you raise money. You need your house, sister. We have to support each other and not let feminism, or what I would call brotherfuckerism, where Black men think being satirists, whorish, tramps, where everything is in your penis. Where does that come from? That comes from the plantation, where men were estranged from being in permanent relationship with their women and their children. So everything is about busting a nut. It isn't about busting a nut. It's about cultivating a nation. Dropping a seed. Anybody could do that. Massa dropped seeds. The overseers, the slave breakers dropped seeds. We need to be thinking about permanence. Everything has to be the same way that Asians or others come into our neighborhood. They get one store, then another store, then another store, or the Patels all have hotels. Now they've got everything. We have to make everything that we do stick to the fact that we're going to grab and hold as much as we can here. I don't agree with everything that Booker T. Washington said, but he said, cast down your buckets, admit this is yours. He did some Uncle Tom shit, but if you ever go and look at the World Conference that Booker T. Washington had on white racism in 1913, and he had all these scholars come in and call white people out as phonies, and that black people are basically superior to white people. It's interesting that he was dead within 2 years. Sometimes strategic cooning. You think a person's a coon, that person's on some crazy stuff, but if you understood, so many black folk aren't with you. You can't be out there the way you want to. You can't be like Sister Keisha, Sister Brooke, or Brother Ted. You have to kind of coon a little bit. You have to coon because if you're too far out there, that's how fast our people will run and let you get shot down. Same way Jesse Jackson had a hot foot to drive that car out of Memphis and take the bloody shirt that he smeared Dr. King's blood on because he was an agent to become the leader of black people. Set up by white folks. They had picked Jesse Jackson out. They picked Lumumba out in Congo. We have traitors. We're honeycombed by traitors. And that's the other thing. I said this in the show. The real power in Iran today isn't their missiles. It's that they've delineated and they've sorted out their traitors. It's coming to high price. But they keep finding their traitors. We're the only people where traitors get to be celebrated heroes, leaders. You look at Al Sharpton. He looks like a sperm that was left on the sidewalk. And people still following him, right? He's pathetic looking. You look at Crump, who looks like Curious George. I mean, how do these people get to be anybody's leader? This crock shit woman down in Texas. Hakeem Jeffries looks like Dr. Evil from the Austin Powers movie. I mean, all these cartoonish, wicked people. You know what I'm saying? The late Sheila Jackson Lee looks like Henrietta Hippo from the New Zoo Review. How do these people be our leadership? I mean, you can look at them and you can tell something's wrong with them. Right? Obama, again, he looked like a caramel Bullwinkle. You could tell something's wrong with him. Michelle Obama looked like Patrick Ewing with no beard. Why do we trust these people? God even lets you see in their face how there's something wrong with them the way they look. That fat preacher that looks like he's eating out all the Popeyes, Bojangles, and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Reverend Barber, the one with the greasy hair. He's so fat, I mean, he has to like rent the first class station, the first class section just to get on the plane. Went to go to see The Color Purple. They should have put his ass out. In fact, he's probably mad they didn't have enough popcorn. I don't believe the story that was in the news, right? Let me just say to you that we need to have a way to deal with our traitors. And we need to have, for those few, we don't need everybody. I want to remind people, you had a pedophile land theft artist, and you had some people that smuggled the equivalent of crack, rum, up in Boston. George Washington, Sam Adams, Hancock. It's just a handful of whiteys that want to break off from England because they didn't want to pay taxes. That's how you got in America. Everybody white wasn't for that. Everyone black isn't going to, everyone that's look like us ain't going to be it. Find your few that will do. And the same in your family. I've got lines of my family, they're all coons. They love Al Sharpton. They're all Masons, Eastern Star. They pledge, you know, they got a Prince Albert on their penis, a brand on their behind. Oh, I've got a tattoo on my boobs, you know, Masonic Eastern Star tattoo on the boob. I mean, we all have them. And they all think that T.D. Jakes is a man of God. I mean, that's like saying that Diddy should be running a brownie troop. Those people we can't help. But if we can find and understand there's something else. What black people had, it wasn't just blood and delineation. You have kinship. Kinship was something that developed when our people were dealing with this stuff. If you and I can get along, live in the same place, we know each other, you become my family, even if it's not blood. If someone does an Instacart delivery on my porch, my neighbors who are also from Rocky Mount, who we're probably related, I will know if someone took something off my porch. I got cousins that live at the end of the block. Okay, some of us, they were slaves, my folks weren't, but we still family. I got family at the end of the block. You learn about you, and I got another family. Those people that will come together, they'll never break us. I always say to people, there's a place in Virginia called the Dismal Swamp. I had family that escaped. They were Maroons for 200 some odd years. They never, ever surrendered to white supremacy. They'd rather deal with cottonmouth water moccasins and alligators than be slaves. Okay, I have family that was Seminole. My great-grandmother, used to carry around a Colt 45 pistol and threaten white people. Okay, she's a Seminole. We've had people that were free even when freedom wasn't for everybody. Some folks just weren't going to be nobody's slave. Find the people who aren't for the bullshit. Now, let me rewind because I brought up Maria Stewart and I wanted to say something about our beautiful sister, Sister Brooke and Sister Keisha, and you brothers are just wonderful. There was a big meeting in Philadelphia, one of the first mass meetings of Black people, and they denounced Pan-Africanism. They denounced the colonization project. They said, Paul Cuffey, we like you, you're rich, you have an African name from Ghana. You can go back and take people, but our asses aren't going. America's our home. And they refuse. In fact, the American Colonization Society, started by white supremacist monsters that knew when you took people to Liberia, they had a 50-50 chance of being dead within a year. Being sent back to Africa was a 50% probability that you would die. And to make it sexy, before they even started getting Black folks in there, they had bombed and attacked Africans all along the coast, meaning that the Africans were going to make the people that were Black from America pay for what the white people did to them. The white folk had been trading alcohol, had corrupted the Africans, and when we got there, the Africans had some shit to show them. Pan-Africanism is a cultic belief, and in reality, it's like Nimrod in Genesis. If all the people come together, we'll all sort it out. It's not true. You got that Tower of Babel, and that's what Pan-Africanism is. It's basically a circle jerk masturbatory dildo that we're bowing down to. It's a bunch of broke down, liar, fake, never accomplished anything in the United States that want you and I to believe somehow we're going to find a village in Africa. And you know what's interesting? When you saw roots, you never saw anybody make a bowel movement because you know what? Maybe they didn't have toilets. I like toilet paper. I like wiping my ass. I like knowing that the poop that I made isn't right next to me. It's going to go somewhere else. Have you been in Africa and people pee everywhere? Come on, Brother Ted, in Ghana, where they have spray painted, please don't pee on the wall, and folks just come around pissing everywhere. You smell pee everywhere you go in Africa. You think you're in a big urinal. I'm not picking on nobody. People just make a dump in the middle of the street, keep it moving.
I've seen
it. People eating cats. I'm not mad. I love my cat. It's upstairs. I'm glad it realized I told the cat go to hell and went to sleep because it's going to interrupt the show. They eat cats. They eat dogs. They eat bats. They eat rats. There's a lot of malnutrition in Africa. There's a lot of stunting in Africa. I'm not saying all Africans are bad. The African boule, the ones, the 2-3% that have money, don't give two damns about the 97%. I mean, if you're not going to have like 2 or 3 generators, if you don't have enough broken bottles to put all on the walls, because they will rob the shit out of you in Africa. Africa is full of thieves. You know how they say Africa, the Pan-Africanists, they're such liars. In Africa, they don't have prisons. No, that's because they kill people. They will lynch your ass in broad daylight. If I scream thief, people start beating and stomping you because people are tired of the bullshit.
I've seen it.
I mean, it's you don't get to go to jail. And if you do go to jail, the reason jails are small in Africa is because they don't provide food for you in Africa. Your family has to come. Your little broke-ass family living on $1 a day has to come and feed your ass and lock up. They let those people die. And the jails in Africa are the jails that the Europeans built 40, 50, 60, actually 70, 80 years ago. Meaning that you have jails that are filled 100, 200, 300 times capacity. Going to jail is a guaranteed death. And there's rape and all that other stuff. And I want to just say to everybody, because you brought up that the guy who looks like a roach with glasses, Ron Daniels. I have to think of a roach and then I can remember his name. Ron Daniels is one of the most vile, wicked people that's ever lived. And I can't think of anything he's done other than enrich himself. But let me tell you something. While Ron Daniels and them put themselves up, do you know that Ron Daniels is in the pocket of the LGBTQ? And he's working to help promote stealthily LGBTQ in Uganda and Central Africa. And that the leader of Black America, as designated by the Khazarians and other people, is a Liberian homosexual by the name of Alfonso David, the former head of the Human Rights Campaign, the largest homosexual civil rights organization started by a Jewish pornographer. That's where the HRC came from. So they have a Liberian homosexual. And a lot of the people that are being put in positions in America now are African gays. You want a fast track visa to come to the United States. If you claim to be persecuted around sexuality, they bring you over. And they literally are training them, African gays, to be enemies. Africans are told that Black Americans are the reason that they don't have rights to be gay. So they're mad at us. I mean, I'm not keeping you from getting your booty busted in the bush. I mean, what? I mean, just don't fall over the Victoria Falls if he bump you too hard. I mean, this will be hell getting back up. We're under attack by a lot of this stuff, and it is a grift. I am not saying that there aren't good Africans. I will never, I don't teach that. I don't preach that. I don't sit up and do a lot of anecdotal attacks on Africans. I don't, because there are plenty of people I care about that are African, but we have to be real. So all over Africa now, there are massacres and killings. They kill you because you're Christian, right? They'll kill you because you look like someone in the group. I went to school with a Nigerian who hated me because someone, that's true, DNA-wise, his house in my family, he can look at me and tell. And he hated me for it. Even though I lived in America, I needed to pay for his rivalry back in Nigeria here. He's in my country hating me over a fight somewhere else. Africans have brought this tribal bullshit with them here. You can't unite with them. Tribalism puts a veto, a permanent veto on Pan-Africanism. We're the only Black people in the world that are not tribal. The reason that people are responding to delineation is because it will make us a tribe. It means we're going to be cliquish like they are. See, they Black when their hand is out when they want something, and the Igbo or something else once their hand is closed. I don't know you. They're afraid that we're going to get our shit together here and they won't be able to get right off of us. And that means they'll talk about our families being broken. But you know what? You want to see some fucked up stuff? African families, especially if the father's screwing 8, 9 women. He got enough dick for 10 women, but not enough time for them. Not enough money. The kids all hate each other. Oh, yes, they do. Oh, yes, it is a problem. And as I said, slavery still exists. It's commonplace all over Africa, even though if they call it something else.
And it's still going on heavy right now. But hold on, Dr. Shaw, because I want to get Sister Brooke and Brother Divine's perspective on what it is that all that you said, because I know Sister Brooke got to get out of here for work soon. So I want to get their perspective on some of the things that you said. Brother Divine, you first.
He said so much. How you doing, Dr. Short? It's great to see you again after we got a chance to finally meet in person in DC. And you came through and dropped some of these same eat the bombs. We were just trying to have a social meeting. He said, nah, I'm going to bring some truth to that meeting as well. The one thing I'll just go with what he said last, because I think that hits home. Well, two things now that I'm thinking about it. The first thing is what he said lastly is Africans being told is our fault. I've heard in multiple rooms on TikTok and on social media when they're asked, well, why are you so angry at Black Americans? And they'll say at Foundation Black Americans, they will say it's Foundation Black Americans' fault that we don't have toilets. It's Foundation Black Americans' fault that we don't have certain amenities or luxuries or just everyday things that we take for granted. And there's various reasons on why they'll give that, why they have that notion. But yeah, that's not a foreign concept. It was foreign at the time, but now that you're explaining it, it makes so much more sense on where it's coming from. And just how easily it is to either fool them or for them to believe the lie so they don't have to do the real work because they know the truth is harder than that lie. And the next thing I want to say, so I give my sister Brooke enough space to cook, is what you said about us being related. That's also something that hit home. We were just doing a space yesterday, going over the Ghana UN, the Ghana UN resolution. And a brother got up that's from California. We've done work and advocacy work in DC and other places together. And he was sharing that same sentiment, that how it feels when you get around others that have the same mindset, and that when we're doing this work, he said that a lot of times it feels like family because he believes, and he's like, I'm just of the belief that somewhat down the line we are related because of how it feels to be connected to one another in this fight and in this space, and just how much of a kinship that we have with each other when we're doing this, when they were doing this fight and doing this work. So those
brother,
two things.
aren't you from Carolina?
I am.
Remember, I looked at you and said, I could look at you and tell where you're from.
That's right.
By your color. I'm sorry, I'm not into colorism, but you have a coloration that is what they call early Black North Carolina genetic grouping, at least under Ancestry. So I could look and tell someone you're from there. I could tell by the, so you got black feet, and one or two other Indian thing mixed in with black and some white in there. I could look at you and tell. Just look.
That's crazy, because that's wild. Because that's exactly where some of my lineage goes right
Yeah,
to.
and I've never seen you. I look at you and say, "Oh, I know what you are."
Wow.
Sister Brooke, I'm sorry.
Were you done, Divine? Okay. I don't have it was so much said there, and I wasn't taking notes. I was just listening, because it's so funny, because I'm not really used to being on a show of Dr. Short. I'm used to like being in the chat, so I really was just kind of spacing out and just listening, so I didn't take my usual notes like I do. But I did take a couple things. I wanted to say, let's see. Oh gosh, I can't even read the first one. When you were talking about Malcolm X. What's that? I can't see, Dr. Short.
I sent you that.
Okay. I'll look on my phone. When you were talking about Malcolm X earlier, and some of the mistakes that he's made, I think even at the end of his life, he realized that the nation was not the solution for all Black people, because of the way the nation turned on him when he spoke truth to power. And then I also wanted to bring up the fact that, the Pan-African goofies keep talking about how he wanted to go to the UN. But that's one of the things he learned at the UN, that, you know what I'm saying, that was not the way. Like, people don't really understand that we have learned from the mistakes of the people that came before us.
Can I interject something?
Please.
Brother Larry Pinckney went to the United Nations and won back in the 70s all the stuff Malcolm X is talking about. But you won't hear about Larry Pinckney. There's already a case. Literally the groundwork for reparations, all that stuff actually has been there for decades. Our people don't read, they don't study. And true fighters like Brother Divine, Brother Tad, Sister Keisha, our people, if we were talking about Beyonce's booty, we'd probably have 15,000 people on here. Because that's where our people, I'm sorry, Black people have been conditioned to be shallow, superficial, and fake. Black is the new white. We've become white people. We used to be heavier because we had to be. That's part of why we need to delineate and get our bearings back, because we've been in this prodigality of shallow stupidity. I mean, like Tiger Woods. Ever since they told that nigga he was Black after he had the first problem drinking, he's never recovered from having to be Black. I guess he's on drugs now. I mean, now he's really Black. Once he started committing crimes, getting into trouble, we're shallow. I wish we were not. And you know what? Most people in the world are shallow. The Africans are shallow. They don't know who they are until they get here. A lot of Africans don't get any good education. Some do, but many don't. There are a lot of Africans that the school fees. And by the way, girls can at least sleep with the teachers for school fees. Ain't nobody can screw, little boy can't screw his minutes. So a lot of Africans don't have a lot of education. I'm not saying all don't, but many don't. So the literacy is low, but our people are shallow. And as a result, we don't study, we don't research, we don't ask questions. Whenever you and I talk, if I'm talking to you, if I even think, if I have any inkling that I'm not exactly 100% right, I'll stop and check myself just to make certain I didn't tell you something that was incorrect, because I would rather say I was wrong, but here's the answer, than play and try to be like what's his name? A Dr. Small, scam Africanist, Obi-Wan Kenobi, where I'm the one that's just so smart and I'm like, I got this personality cult and just hang on my every word. Damn me. I could die tomorrow. But facts, true ideas, and research lives forever. I don't care. I mean, look, I tell people I got stage 4 cancer. I'm supposed to be dead 2, 3, 4 years ago. I'm here at the will of God. I get it. That's why I take time to talk to younger people. I may not be here. And I'm not obsessed with being one of those old niggas in a wheelchair like Dorothy Height. I mean, looking like Magilla Gorilla with the hat on and shit, still trying to run shit at 90. She need to sit her ass down and let somebody younger take the organization and move with it. People die. Duh. Niggas dying every day. And we get these folks that get positions or organization and they never want to retire. Come on, if you had a roll of toilet paper and you left it on the roll for 90 years, would you still wipe your ass with it? No, something's wrong with it after 90 years. You need another roll. You need change. Oh, by the way, there is a treatment for cancer, and it's a sister. I'm going to give her your info. Give your info to her sister, Keisha. Black folks, they're killing us with diabetes, cardiovascular, and cancer. The solution is one thing, and asthma is far greater consumption of vitamin D. As sun people, we're supposed to be in the sun. We're inside. These days, we're in the house all the time. We're supposed to have way more vitamin D than these other people. So if you have an asthma problem, you need to really increase your vitamin D. Cancer can be reduced by vitamin D. I had the best A1C, eating whatever the hell I wanted, but I've been taking lots of vitamin D. I'm moving out of being pre-diabetic just off vitamin D. Don't take that shit, metformin. Sounds like rat poison. This is the kind of thing that we must do for each other. In fact, part of our health used to come through families, our grandmothers, other people that knew about the plants. And people call it hoodoo. My great grandmother had clients and shit. Like she was Miss Huxtable. Part of what keeps us alive is our connection to each other. And someone's called me Dr. Small.
Right? I saw that too. I'm like, wait a minute now.
I'm not small, I'm short. Although I was told
And Smalls isn't a doctor.
Well, he has a degree from Ron Karenga's people, the ones that killed the Panthers that were with the CIA, FBI. So you have to wonder why he's moving in all these circles. Okay, I said it. And I mean, give me a real chronology, all the cultists. I'm not ragging on Dr. Small, but you're in California, you're in New York, you're in the Navy, you're in the Nation of Islam. I mean, you're everywhere, all at one time.
People die around you,
and you're up in the university without a degree. I mean, and I know people like me with PhDs that don't even let you in. How did you work that out? And why is him showing up at the university at the same time the Black Studies came in, where they're talking about Black American history and all, and they're carrying around guns at Cornell and Ithaca, and Smalls is brought into the university? Some oppie shit is here, okay? I said it. And by the way, I'm not a bad guy. I'm willing to participate in collecting chlorine for Dr. Because I think Dr. Small found some way to reclaim the urine from the slave ships, and he has it all in a little swimming pool at that hotel. Look like all the ancestors peed in it. We're gonna get him some chlorine and clean that thing out. Maybe someone can swim it, or maybe pee from Africans for pan goofies. Maybe pee from African ancestors is holy water. I don't want any, but I'm not such a bad person. Let's get some chlorine. Let's clean that pool up, and maybe we can get Salvation Army some donations to give them some real furniture and that hotel, and get the air conditioners off of timers. Okay, you travel all the way to Africa, and they probably have coin-operated air conditioners in this hotel. And for all, you're talking about respect. When you have a lot of young men with no jobs hanging out in hotel stuff in Africa, they're often into sex work. So I need to know, is that a place for African dudes to screw lonely Pan-Africanists or scam Africanist women going to Africa that want to rediscover their roots, so they go to that Hot Pillow Hotel. They have a lot of those in Ghana. I know. Okay, I stayed in the Ass Hot Hotel in Ghana. I mean, I
Ass
didn't know
Hot
that was, it's
Hotel.
called the Assurance Hotel, but its abbreviation was Ass Hot. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, and I went through some good African people. They put me in a Hot Pillow Hotel. I didn't stay there, but I was there. It's like ass hot. Yes, they do have sex hotels. They broke and they look just like the one he's got. I said it. Prove me wrong. And why do you have, again, a lot of young men around there? Y'all know if you travel. Come on, Brother Ted. Those guys at the beach in Jamaica and everywhere else, they called rent-a-dreads.
I'm trying to think if I stayed at the Ass Hot before. I think it sounds familiar. It sounds familiar.
I'll call you right back. Please. All right. I need some.
And they're charging $4,000, $5,000,
All right.
$6,000 for these packages for Juneteenth and whatnot. It's crazy to stay in the Ass Hot Hotel.
Juneteenth. It's sorry. The place looks, I mean, the furniture looks like it's from the 60s. The Brady Bunch had newer shit than what's in that place. Okay. Here's a story of a Pan-African lady
We look at the Brady Bunch.
who was brainwashing 3 very ugly girls. They just wanted black folks gold like their mother. Look, it's fraud. It's when are we going to stop? Part of reparations is us loving each other. Part of reparations is getting them to come the hell out of our pocket. What I said to Brother Black Alpha, we need to have a not gonna go campaign where we don't go to Ghana for a year or two. We don't buy any chocolate. And I love Ghanaian chocolate. And I like Ghana. But you can't fuck with my ancestral MFM. It's our motherfucking money. It's not yours. You guys sold our asses. You getting reparations is like getting a rebate for betraying us. What? Am I losing my mind? Did my ears turn upside down? Did my sheath turn into a clitoris? I don't think so. It's our damn money. It's not theirs. Come out our pocket, as they said before they shot Malcolm X. So we're not gonna go. I ain't gonna do nothing. Okay. You can't, and none of us are gonna do nothing no more. Okay. Right? So just know. So let's just be very, very, very real. And I'm saying to you, respect. By the way, there are even people that come to Ghana from Nigeria to steal from Black Americans. I know because someone tried to steal my camera when I was in Ghana in 2008. We had to fight people. Someone tried to steal my camera. They'll literally have people come there to steal from us. And by the way, Black American people have been floating the Ghanaian economy significantly through tourism. It's a fact. And the people in Ghana have the leadership, not the average Ghanaian people. Not the Ghanaian people. I'm not trashing ordinary people. The leadership is so bankrupt. All the money is spent in London, New York, Paris. They're not really helping their own people out. And I want to just say something. What I hate about Pan-Africanists is they emphasize kings and queens. We don't need any kings and queens. We need some real ride or die brothers or sisters. The problem in Africa is you've got these ancestral ruling families like you have in America. The American Revolution was a rebellion against the British ancestral royal families that stole from everyone else. In Ghana, you've got these families that have everything and they feel entitled to it based on lineage and they don't share. They don't let the other people have. And these folks tell us to go over there and join that and actually come under other people and, oh, I'm a chief. Oh, hell, you could be a bishop here and live better. I mean, right? We don't need any kings and queens. What we need is true participatory democracy as a people, where we get to determine the policies and terms under which we live. That's true self-determination and freedom, not to be under something of a king or a queen. Me having some Indian royal lineage or European royal lineage, I heard through my mother's family, we're descendant of Queen Nzinga, and Queen Nzinga's cool, but she was a slave trader. The woman that my mother looks like, who's one of our ancestors, traded in slaves, and when shit got bad, she started fighting with white folks because they shorted her money. We put her out as a hero because she is resisting the Europeans, but she's not getting rid of slavery. We've got to get people off of high horses. We got to get this Pan-Africanist ass off of our shoulders and start being real. And one other thing I have to say, all these little goofy, silly niggas out here who are into all these little dumb African religions, if the African religions were so wonderful and so special, why is Africa so fucked up? Show me where these folk who kill chickens and make soup out of people's penises and all, right? It's sad. Now, let me tell you something, a real story. One of the ambassadors of Liberia, his name is John Morlu. He's in the family, right? The day that O.J. Simpson was acquitted, I ran into him in a Best Buy in Virginia. And he started in front of white folks to say to me, Black Americans were violent, we were no good, we were stupid, and we had no values. And we had no culture and all this other. And he's just saying this stuff. And I'm saying, brother, we don't have any. We don't have any. I said, come on, some of us, but no, you just all. Okay. So it says, okay, brother. So we don't have cultural values. I says, but it says, you know what? One thing I can tell you about we degraded Black Americans, we don't eat other people's penises. And that African dude looked me in my eye and said, we were at war. So
Wow.
he took offense to me criticizing them eating penis, which is what they do when they have, and they were eating penises in Liberia and Sierra Leone when they were having those wars. It's part of juju. And they eat human hearts and they eat human flesh. Oh, yes, they do. I'm not saying all. I'm not saying everyone. But that happened. And they had the kids on drugs and they were having sex with the kids. The child soldiers were on drugs and sex and killing folks. Those child soldiers are all over Africa. Next time you start talking about African family all being together and we just need to go back to Africa and find our religion and shit. Those people eating penises are following those African religions that they want you and I to get back with. You know what? I'll stick with white Jesus, okay? Thank you very much. And when Negroes get it together, maybe I'll get an upgrade and get a black one. But right now, I'll take white Jesus over having to eat someone's dick to fight a war, okay?
Well, family, there you have it. We got to the end of our program. I tell you, didn't I tell you don't bring the plane? But I want y'all to know that the upcoming Hidden Color 6, Dr. Short will be in there as well.
Yes.
You keep in touch with us because we're going to make it a thing. When they hit New York, we all going as a crew.
Yeah,
So,
well, I want to come up and visit. I want to meet Tad in person. And he and I have to exchange Africa. You know what? We could do a book. In fact, here's my challenge. We should do Quit Pan-Africanism book. I would be willing to help write that. I would be willing to help put that together. And it doesn't take a minute. We put like 100, 200 pages, no, 50, 60 to 100 pages. I have stories, everything from there, you know, the people having no books on Black people at the University of Ghana, no books on Black Americans, them not having any toilet paper or soap, and people shitting in holes in the ground. And I mean, you're wondering if a fly's gonna go up your behind when you're trying to like relieve yourself. You know what I'm talking about. You know, you go to the bathroom.
I know
and
exactly what you're talking
there's
about.
no top on the toilet, and you're trying to figure out, well, why didn't you finish? You didn't finish. I mean, you've been in the house 40 years and you don't get like a tank. You just have the base of the toilet. Sister Keisha,
no, it sounds crazy, but he's not lying. He's not lying. Places you would think
and I'm
that
not
the
saying this
plumbing
out
would
of
be
hatred.
right. It's just a fact.
That's what it is.
It's just a fact.
In fact, you know what? What do you call the toilet in the slums of Lagos?
I don't know.
A window.
That's it. On that note, y'all, we are out of here. Welcome. Tune in next week for Thorough Black Talk. I promise y'all we're going to deal with the history of the African burial ground and what took place there. I promise y'all. But we had a special guest tonight. I had to get my brother.
And you know that bones got moved to the University of William and Mary. Howard wouldn't back up holding on to the bones. I was there. So I know Dr. Blake. Oh no, fake. In fact, Howard's run by tethers. They've ruined the place. And it's gayer than it's ever been. I mean, I'm surprised they don't put mayonnaise. I'm surprised that they I know him, he's no damn good. I'm surprised that they don't have mayonnaise inside the hot dogs they serve in the cafeteria. That's how bad it is. Okay. They had a Black American, they ran him out. And so, they had a little gay mafia stealing all the money. You didn't hear about the little boy that's traveling the world, got like somewhere between $500,000 to $1 million. And Howard, it should be how hard, because the manhood up there needs some Viagra, some Cialis, some Reddit Rouge. It needs everything. I mean, some ashwagandha, some Shilajit. Put a popsicle stick down the middle, something, get it up, because it's sagging. All right.
Man, make sure y'all send them emails. Keep sending these emails. They are working. We need y'all support. Continue to send these emails. Send them several times a day. You know,
God bless
you. Can do that. You can send them however many times you want to. Share the link with your family. Share the link with your friends. Share the link with allies.
And we not gonna go.
At all. At all.
I ain't gonna do nothing.
No more leaning on us. It's over. It's a wrap. It's done. So stay tapped in with us. Like I said, when the Hidden Color 6 is released, we going as a crew in New York. So support my brother. Follow Dr. Short on all social media platforms. Stay tapped in, because you never know when he's going to pull up back on the Brooklyn Bridge. You never know. So with that, family, we're going to say a good night. Catch y'all back on the bridge next week. We are out.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From brother Tad to sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power Media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary ways